the infielder take it halfway up the line.
And it is
on Sportsnet 590 The Fan.
Gone!
The 100th career home run. 100 career doubles, 100 home runs. Swing and a miss by Ramirez, and he's down on strikes. Caleb Joseph, you played in the major leagues for 7 seasons. The pandemic year was spent in close proximity, and as a backstop with the Toronto Blue Jays, you got to know Vladimir Guerrero Jr. at a pivotal point in his career, too, both offensively and specifically defensively. That was the year he was transitioning from third base to first base. A lot going on around Vladdy. Also the challenges that he put on himself, then moving from that season into the offseason with his weight and his training programs. He is a generational talent. As G-Man Choi steps in, takes a wide strike, and it's 0-1. What have you come to appreciate watching the last couple of years about Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and his ability at the plate?
Everything.
The 0-1, fouled away.
But I'll tell you, Ben, 236 batted balls over 95 plus. And I feel like I say it every single broadcast, but it doesn't seem like that big of a deal. Guys hit balls hard, right? He is just an animal when it comes to being able to square the ball up and square it up hard.
0-2, lifted to center. Back goes Springer, shy of the track. From center, he makes the catch. Choi retired 2 away.
And again, it is a knack, and those numbers are absolutely insane. And I'll tell you, he's career high in doubles this year, 33. It's so easy to look at his season this year and kind of compare it to last year. Remember, this guy's 23 years old, and he's He is facing every pitcher's best sequence, every pitcher's best pitch, because when visiting teams come into town, they focus on a couple guys, and Vladdy Jr. is one of those guys.
Manuel Margot at the plate. He'll take a slider in from Ross Stripling for strike one. A scouting report always has priority players on it, right? And Vladdy, whether he's 20 or 23, has always been right there in the crosshairs for every opponent. A swing and a miss by Margot, and it's 0-2. That's because he's always a threat. You may compare last year in an MVP caliber season, 48 home runs, the huge RBI total, high average, 0-2, fouled back, stays 0-2. What's the greatest separator prior to him getting in the batter's box in the pregame work that you've witnessed Vladdy do?
Well, I'll tell you, at this time of year, it's ever-changing, and that's part of the experiential factor of each and every season. Each season's different. Sometimes you got to work harder. Sometimes you got to work smarter.
The 0-2, fastball's outside.
Kind of what I mean by that is sometimes you got to back off a little bit. Sometimes you have to change routines a little bit here and there. But I know they've been doing a lot of short tee work action to really get that bat moving more directionally towards the middle of the field. But he's always been an extremely hard worker.
1-2 pitch, fouled back. Stays 1 ball and 2 strikes.
And that short tee bin is about 4 inches off the ground. So it's about shin high, and it really forces you to kind of get down there and get on plane and try and drive that ball into the back of the net.
1-2 to Margot is just a little bit low. That slider just called a ball. Lance Barrett calling balls and strikes tonight behind the plate. Back into the wide, Stripling deals, and the pitch is ripped foul. 1-0 Toronto. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. in a first inning solo home run. Blue Jays trying to keep their pace in front of the Seattle Mariners. They were up big today over the San Diego Padres. 2-2, poke back foul. They have gone final in the Pacific Northwest. Julio Rodriguez started off the afternoon with a first inning leadoff home run for the Mariners. They never looked back. A 6-1 rout over the Padres. 80 wins for the Mariners. The Blue Jays today are 80-62. The standings update presented by Bet365, the world's favorite sports book. Now a virtual tie for first place in the wild card. 2-2. Flicked up the right field line, slicing away. That'll lay it foul. No chance for the Blue Jays to make a play on that one. And it's exciting. This is the time of year. You want to be in the thick of things, whether it's your division, whether certainly it's the wild card. For most of the year, the Blue Jays have been honing in on that wild card, but recently the division has come into their thought process. Here's a swing, and Margot hooks one into left field. Tapia digs it out of the warning track. Margot bolts towards second base. He's got a 2-out double. Long battle with Ross Stripling, won by Margot. Razor threatening here with 2 down in the top of the second inning. American League wildcard teams include the Mariners, which have the tiebreaker over the Blue Jays because they won the season series. Then you've got the Toronto Blue Jays with an equal record going into play tonight at 80-62. The Rays are the third place team in the wild card at 79-62. Pitch by Stripling, a slider into Christian Bethancourt, and it's 0-1. There's a 6-game difference in the American League Eastern Division. The Blue Jays just have over 3 weeks left in the regular season, and a head-to-head against the New York Yankees left. 0-1. That's down and out. Slider misses, and it's 1 ball and 1 strike. New York Yankees, 86 victories, 56 losses, 6 games over the Blue Jays, 6.5 up on the Tampa Bay Rays. Cleveland starts today with a 4-game cushion over the White Sox, a 12.5-game lead for the Astros over the Mariners in the West. Bethancourt hits one up the right field line. That's out of play. 1 ball and 2 strikes. A lot of things would have to go very, very much in favor of the Toronto Blue Jays, including what looks like in that last homestand, to be a really, really dominant performance against the New York Yankees if the Blue Jays could win the division. Not saying it's out of the question. Blue Jays are certainly shifting their focus, and there's been a lot of conversation in the clubhouse about the division. The 1-2. A slider misses low and away. It's 2 balls and 2 strikes. You wonder as well what will happen in the wild card race, because one thing that the Rays have are 2 series left against the Houston Astros. That might be a significant impact the way things will shake out over the last 2 weeks of the regular year. Blue Jays certainly don't have the schedule working in their favor. 17 of the last 20 against teams over the 500 mark. 2-2. Swing and a miss. Bethancourt fades to a knee. Couldn't get down to the slider. A 2-out double. Nothing more against Ross Stripling here in the top of the second inning. 1-0 Toronto. This is Blue Jays baseball. Served up by Jack Link's Meat Snacks on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
We're 2 men and a truck.
Just like us at Bears Radio, our friends at Office Revolution really get the game. They furnished a global sports marketing agency in Fulton Market that won Crane's coolest offices. They know work is not just about conference rooms. This space has leather couches, bar stools by the tap, and even stadium seating for brainstorming great plays. Office Revolution knows your office represents your culture, brand, and should be a space where the team wants to work. Visit office-revolution.com to see what they can do.
This September, Chicago Gourmet is going Uberboard. Join host Chef Sarah Gruenberg for Prost in the Park, a new Oktoberfest-style event with chef takes on classic German delights, Uba bands, fun cocktails, and delicious craft beer. From familiar favorites to a big collection of local craft breweries, get ready to toast at this Sunday Fun Day on the Harris Theater rooftop at Millennium Park. Prost in the Park, Sunday, September 25th. Tickets at chicagogourmet.org. Presented by Performance Food Service.
How's your mental health? I'm listening with Michael Phelps.
You know, I think for me in 2014, when I found myself in that dark place where I didn't want to be alive in those 4 days when I was in my room by myself, after sitting there and thinking about everything, I wanted to find a different way. I wanted to find a different answer. I was sick and tired of feeling how I felt. And that's why I started to seek help. And that's when I checked myself into a treatment center.
More at imlistening.org. Talk saves lives.
Back inside the Crown Rust Protection booth tonight with Caleb Joseph. I'm Ben Wagner. The Blue Jays have a 1-0 start over the Rays. Protect your vehicle with Crown, Canada's #1 rust protection. Book your appointment today. Crown, protect, maintain, save. Calvin Biggio, Danny Jansen, Raimel Tapia. John Schneider going in the lineup with a little bit of left-handed prowess with Biggio, Tapia, and Jackie Bradley Jr. on the bottom half of the order. Biggio watches a shift deploy to the right. Looks out at the right-hander Rasmussen, who deals. And the fastball's at the knees, strike 1. 25th start of the season, his 35th in the big leagues. Third-year major leaguer Drew Rasmussen, 27 years old. Misses down and in. 1 ball and 1 strike. We talk about the four-seam fastball. We talk about the repertoire. The cutter is a huge part of it. And another reason the Blue Jays have a couple of lefties in the lineup tonight. 1-1. Chopped away, foul at the plate. That came up in the batter's box and clipped Biggio. Rasmussen pounced on it, but it's called foul, and it's 1 ball and 2 strikes. And with the Blue Jays so dominant from the right side of the plate with Teoscar Hernandez, if Lourdes Gurriel Jr. was available, obviously he would be in there as well. Blue Jays just have not had success against guys like Drew Rasmussen that possess this kind of cut fastball. 1-2. Ripped up the first base line. Snow cone grab by Choi. Leaping right on top of the chalk deep at first base. Robbing Calvin Biggio of a potential extra base hit.
And I tell you what, the worst thing is after that play is when you absolutely strike a ball down the line and it's foul and caught. I've done it many a time at third base where the third baseman was hanging right on that line, hit a foul line drive, caught for an out. No worse feeling in baseball. Here's Danny Jansen. Cut fastball outside. That's ball 1. It's one thing to hit a line drive to a second baseman, but a ball that should be foul, but because there's a defender playing right on the line, irked me to death.
1-0. Popped up. Now Choi ranging over the foul line. Down the coach's box. Camps out underneath it. Makes the grab. And there are 2 away. Biggio hit that right on the screws. And I saw the replay. And you're right. There had enough hook on it. It would have been foul. Not an extra base hit for Kevin Biggio. But that is by design. This is why when I asked John Schneider, hey, you had the lefties into this lineup. What are you looking for? And he said Rasmussen relies on this cut fastball so much, we think it can get into the happy zone for some of our left-handed hitters.
Yeah, he uses it, and that's why he's so deadly against right-handed hitters, is because he's got both the slider, the cutter, a little bit different shape. One's a little bit harder, one's a little bit bigger. He does have enough zip on the fastball to beat you up top. Those guys that hang out on the outer half have really caused trouble for the right-hand hitting Blue Jays.
Here's a left-handed hitting Raimel Tapia. Swings at the first pitch, and it went lining off to the left foul. 0-1 on Tapia.
But conversely, when you're able to throw a Biggio, Tapia, Bradley in there as a left-handed bat, they know he's going to primarily work them inside. Now you just got to get that head out in front, try and whip him down the line.
0-1. Cutter on the inside corner called strike. Tapia falls in the hole. 0-2. Blue Jays 1, Rays nothing. Home second. Infield back, outfield pretty much straight away. 0-2. Fouled away by Tapia. His time has increased without Lourdes Gurriel Jr. in the lineup. More outfield play for Raimel Tapia, more frequent at bats. Blue Jays are going to wait a couple of days for more imaging on the hamstring of Lourdes Gurriel Jr. They should get that imaging done by the end of the week and then reassess over the weekend on how Gurriel's feeling. Swing and a miss by Tapia. Chase the high fastball. He's down on strikes. Rasmussen gets his first strikeout of the night. Blue Jays carry a 1-0 lead into the third. This is Blue Jays baseball, served up by Jack Link's Meat Snacks on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Ready?
Just like us at Bears Radio, our friends at Office Revolution really get the game. They furnished a global sports marketing agency in Fulton Market that won Crane's coolest offices. They know work is not just about conference rooms. This space has leather couches, bar stools by the tap, and even stadium seating for brainstorming great plays. Office Revolution knows your office represents your culture, brand, and should be a space where the team wants to work. Visit office-revolution.com to see what they can do.
This September, Chicago Gourmet is going Uberboard. Join host Chef Sarah Gruenberg for Prost in the Park, a new Oktoberfest-style event with chef takes on classic German delights, Upa bands, fun cocktails, and delicious craft beer. From familiar favorites to a big collection of local craft breweries, get ready to toast at this Sunday Fun Day on the Harris Theater rooftop at Millennium Park. Prost in the Park, Sunday, September 25th. Tickets at chicagogourmet.org. Presented by Performance Food Service.
365 Now and discover the power of the world's favorite sportsbook. Watch thousands of live games. Build your own bet. You can even bet on games while they're still being played. Seriously. And if you can't watch the games live, we'll alert you.
You know those headlines that make you stop scrolling and actually read an article? I'm Mike Rogers. Those are the kinds of stories I'm diving into on my podcast, Something Off Beat, like the caterpillar infestation in Maine that had us rethinking our relationship with insects.
We were talking about a time 300 million years ago, if you can imagine. There was a dragonfly. It had a 2-foot wingspan.
Just search for Something Off Beat in the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Sportsnet Radio Network.
Isak Paredes will lead off the third inning, being served up by the always game-ready Jack Link's Meat Snacks. Feed your wild side, baseball fans. Blue Jays 1, Rays nothing. 8-9-1 to face Ross Stripling. 32-year-old sharing some big-time news for the family today. Pitch to Paredes. Fastball on the outside corner, strike one. Ross Stripling announcing on social media that his family will grow. They are expecting. Announced that publicly today. The 0-1. Sinks low with the slider. 1-1 strike. It was the big to-do back in the Lone Star State. His last time on the hill facing the Texas Rangers. Ross Stripling and a lot of his family based in Texas. He lives in the offseason in the Houston area, just a couple of hours away. 1-1. Sliders low. 2 balls and 1 strike on Paredes. More than 60 friends and family joined him at the ballpark, watched the start last Friday night against the Texas Rangers. He was great. The 2-1. Bounced sharply down to third. Scooped up by 2 hands from Matt Chapman. On to first in time. 1 up and 1 down. So Jackson, who was born just ahead of the 2021 season, will have a sibling. So congratulations to the Strips. Chicken Strip gets a new nugget, if you will.
Oh, yeah. Always great.
He's great. Taylor Wall's the batter. Batting ninth. Looks at the knuckle curve. In for strike 1. 6'1", 215 pounds, 32 years of age. Was born in Pennsylvania, spent about 6 months there. Calls himself a Texan. The 0-1. Flicked out a play off to the left. Sounded like it snapped the bat. I think Walls feels the same way. Yep, he's going to exchange pieces of lumber down 0-2. There is a made-in-Texas wall when you walk into the visiting clubhouse of the Texas Rangers. If you are from the Lone Star State and you visit, they will put your name in your hometown from Texas, where you hail, for making it to the big leagues and being in Arlington, Texas. Ross Stripling couldn't convince the clubbies that he deserved to be on that wall. He said, well, you're born in Pennsylvania. No, but I've lived here 31 and a half of my 32 years. It was a thing for like 3.5 days. 0-2, swing and a miss. Right over the slider. A third strikeout for Ross Stripling. 2 up and 2 down here in the third. Blue Jays have a 1-0 lead. Well, after the ripping and the good-natured fun between all the clubhouse attendants, and there were like 17 of them, and Ross Stripling, he took matters into his own hand. On the last day of the series in Texas, he pulled off the nameplate over his locker, walked over to the Made in Texas wall, and slapped his own name right next to all the other big leaguers that came through calling Texas their home and recognized. Yandy Diaz looks at a knuckle curve, strike 1 on Diaz. 0-1.
I love it.
He is all business today, though. He was certainly all business last Friday, but then he had fun on Saturday and Sunday. The 0-1. Fastball to the inside corner. 0-2. So very aggressive in the first inning. The start of the second, a little bit more patience in the bottom half of this Rays lineup, including with Paredes, Walls, and now Yandy Diaz. Hit the first pitch in the air out to right. 0-2. Sliders in the dirt. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
Yeah, Stripling he's like the finished product of the speech from Bull Durham to Nuke LaLoosh, right? When he comes out and he says, stop trying to strike everybody out. Be more democratic. Throw some fly balls. Throw some ground outs. It's just what Stripling does.
The 1-2. Inside with a changeup missing, even the count of 2 balls and 2 strikes.
He'll mix in a fly ball. He'll mix in a ground ball. He'll mix in a punch out, but he just attacks. He attacks and attacks and attacks.
Right back into the line. The 2-2 is a slider away. 3 balls and 2 strikes. And listen, you can understand why he would want to strike out everybody. Coming as a young prospect of the Dodgers organization, watching the blossom of Clayton Kershaw in his career, those power numbers, big-time curveball, fastball combination. 3-2. Slider or fastball low for ball 4. Awkward follow-through by Stripling on that delivery. Diaz, the second base runner against the right-hander. Runner at first with 2 outs here in the third. Blue Jays 1, Rays nothing. Longtime swingman through the Dodgers. Really the start of his career with the Toronto Blue Jays. This year pressed into duty with the absence of Hyunjin Ryu. Wander Franco, the switch hitter, takes low, ball 1. Tonight is the 16th start for Ross Stripling since replacing Ryu, who we got a cameo from in the clubhouse earlier today. Nice to see the big left-hander coming back off of Tommy John surgery. 1-0. Franco takes a fastball strike on the outside corner. In the rotation, Ross Stripling, a 256 earned run average, a sub-1 whip. The splits, very encouraging coming into the start tonight. 69 strikeouts, 11 walks. 1-1. In the air out to center. Hit pretty well. Springer goes back, edge of the track, squares in front of the brown dirt, and makes the catch on Franco's drive. A deep fly to straightaway center. Springer retreating, tracks it down to retire the side. A walk, nothing more. Middle of the third, 1-0 Toronto. This is Blue Jays baseball, served up by Jack Link's Meat Snacks on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Just like us at Bears Radio, our friends at Office Revolution really get the game. They furnished a global sports marketing agency in Fulton Market that won Crane's coolest offices. They know work is not just about conference rooms. This space has leather couches, bar stools by the tap, and even stadium seating for brainstorming great plays. Office Revolution knows your office represents your culture, brand, and should be a space where the team wants to work. Visit office-revolution.com to see what they can do. Business IT Source, an award-winning provider of IT for business, is now part of Computer Center, one of the largest international IT solutions providers in the world. This offers large corporations the best of all worlds, expanded capability with personalized service, including our no-cost stocking and integration, so products arrive on time and ready to deploy. Make Business IT Source and Dell Technologies part of your winning team. Business IT Source, the IT source for your business.
Get ready for Chicago Gourmet. This September 22nd through 25th, Chicago Gourmet is creating a stir with a weekend of spirited events, serving up delicious food, premium wines, spirits, and beer. Join world-class chefs Rick Bayless, Stephanie Izard, Danielle Boulou, Sarah Gruenberg, and more for gourmet fun on the Harris Theater rooftop at Millennium Park. Tickets will sell out. Get yours today at chicagogourmet.org. From the Illinois Restaurant Association, Southern Glazers Wine and Spirits, and Choose Chicago.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Santiago Espinal has done it again. An RBI double.
On Sportsnet 590, The Fan.
Great to have you back in the Crown Rust Protection broadcast booth. I'm Ben Wagner with Caleb Joseph. Show Ali at Baseball Control tonight. Protect your vehicle with Crown, Canada's #1 rust protection. Book your appointment today. Crown, protect, maintain, save. Blue Jays 1, Rays nothing. Last of the third, Santiago Espinal will lead it off. Jackie Bradley Jr., then to George Springer. Drew Rasmussen's first pitch. A little bit low, but a cutter called a strike on Espinal. Pretty favorable strike zone for the pitchers tonight from Lance Barrett. Something you watch in the early going. How it's going to be established. In, out, up, down. 0-1. Espinal pulls it towards third, just foul. Backhanded in foul territory by Diaz. Whips the throw over to first. Nifty play, all for naught. 0-2 on Santiago Espinal. '17 first rounder for the Rays. Drew Rasmussen, now in the rotation after being acquired by Tampa Bay. His last dozen games, he has been outstanding. He was good the first 12. He's been really good over the last couple of months. Now he asks for time, goes back, pinches the rosin bag. Swipes his fingertips clean on his right pant leg. Oh-2. Check swing. Takes the pitch of the dirt. On the appeal to first, didn't go around. 1 ball and 2 strikes. One thing I was talking with some of the Blue Jay coaches about that they're going to watch from the right-hander tonight is the inclusion of a 2-seamer. 1-2. Bounce up the middle of the diamond. Ranging Walls and Paredes won't be able to stop this one. It's through. A base hit for Espinal. Leadoff man aboard here in the third.
Yeah, it's a good pickup, Ben. He's thrown 2 already tonight, sinkers that is. And when you are Rasmussen, most of your pitches are on the outer half. You're going to use that upper part of the zone for that 4-seam fastball in the 95 range, but it's that slider and cutter that are on the glove side for the pitcher. He doesn't feature a changeup, so there's nothing on that arm side slow or arm side in general. Adding that two-seam gives him a pitch on the arm side inside to right-handed hitters.
Jackie Bradley Jr., left-handed batter. Slight shift off to the right. He'll swing and miss at the first pitch. Strike one. Which is interesting. You say, all right, Drew Rasmussen, you're a product of the Tampa Bay Rays, essentially, in your big league life. They thrive, their pitchers, on changeups and developing good changeups. Rasmussen steps off as Bradley steps away.
Yeah, I remember getting to catch Jeremy Hellickson and facing Jeremy Hellickson. Very, very similar pitcher to Marco Estrada. Elite changeup.
The 0-1. Fouled back towards our booth, right under our laces. Springing into action, Caleb Joseph. I mean, you're desperate after that souvenir, buddy.
I'm telling you, I'm going to get one. By the season's end, I will get one. And you're going to hear about it, fans.
Well, or we hear you fall out of the booth.
I'm going to chuck it right back to the pitcher.
I'm going to have to grab you by the belt loop. Keep you in the box here. 1-0 Toronto. We're in the third. 0-2. Bradley takes a pitch in the dirt. 1 ball and 2 strikes. So Drew Rasmussen, we've talked about the repertoire here, and the Rays love to teach their pitchers, whether it's the first day on the job or if you're acquired as a seasoned veteran for whatever reason, the changeup. Why can't Drew Rasmussen just say, hey, I'm going to throw a changeup? Move towards first. Ooh, Espinal was leaning. He dashes back to the bag.
Uh-oh.
Now the Rays want a review of this one. They say no. Kevin Cash, a big thumbs up. Play on.
I'll tell you, it's one of those things. If things were not going well for Rasmussen, I could see him maybe starting to tinker around with a changeup because things are going so well. That might be kind of an off-season project, but to complete kind of the package with his arsenal, I think a changeup would definitely benefit him.
Bradley pulls a pitch foul. 1 ball and 2 strikes still on JBJ.
Because think of the pitching zone, pitcher-wise, from a triangular viewpoint, right? You have the top part of the triangle could be like the up fastball, which he features, 95, 96. Now you go to one side. That is your cutter slider. That's covering one corner of the plate. Flip it on the other side. That's where the changeup could be a huge pitch for him. Covering all 3 of those triangular points, that's when you got magic.
1-2 pitch. Bradley hits a line drive into center field, down for a base hit. Espinal scoots to second. The first 2 are on for Toronto here in the third inning.
I'll tell you, good for JBJ right there, Jackie Bradley Jr. He has really stung about 4 or 5 balls in the last 3 or 4 games. I think back to a couple balls in Texas that he hit really hard, had nothing to show for it. He's played tremendous defense, and again, the professionalism that he shows up with every single day. This guy's won a World Series, has been a part of a number of winning teams. For him to come in and provide something on offense and turn that lineup over for George Springer, who had a big home run in last night's game, really, really good sign for the Blue Jays tonight.
Home run number 20 last night for George Springer. First and second for Toronto, already in front 1-0. Rasmussen throws the fastball inside for ball 1. First home run in 15 games for Springer. He became the 5th of 5 different Blue Jays with 20 or more home runs. (1-0). Springer hits it in the air, up the line and right. Long run in for Ramirez. Still on the move, can't get there in time. It drops foul. 1 ball and 1 strike on George Springer. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. added to his 20-plus already tonight. Solo home run in the first inning, the game's lone score. Number 28 for Vladdy. Bo Bichette and Matt Chapman each have 24. Teoscar Hernandez not in the lineup tonight. He's got 20, and now Springer. Cutter low and away. And, an awkward finish by George Springer, dropping the bat, trying to hold up on his swing. Over the last week, 10 days, we have seen more and more grimacing of Springer. trying just to battle through that right elbow injury. Two one. Downstairs. 3 balls and 1 strike.
Yeah, it's that check swing motion, Ben, that's going to really kind of trigger that back right elbow. As you go to check swing as a hitter, that back right hand for right-handed batters, the one that you're kind of pulling back, trying to hold that barrel from releasing. A lot of tension built up there in that injured right elbow.
3-1. Springer fouls it away, and then that clipped his feet. So he's feeling it on both ends of the body right now. I mean, everything is susceptible to pain this time of year. Springer certainly is no exception. That ball went off the ball of his lead left foot, or the instep, and pounded right down. Good speed on with Espinal and Jackie Bradley Jr. 3-2. Springer takes low. Ball 4. Well. The bases are loaded. And Vladimir Guerrero Jr. is coming to the plate. His last time at the dish, a 363-foot home run that peaked at 120 feet above the playing surface here at Rogers Center. A soaring home run into the Blue Jay bullpen. A 1-0 lead for Toronto, and so a 1-0 advantage for the Blue Jays now in the third. Kyle Snyder, the pitching coach, out to deliver the message. Nobody out.
Great time right here, Ben, for Vladdy just to get real hot. Just like the hitter standing on deck. Sometimes confidence is a big thing in this game. And you got to think kind of getting that, quote, 100th homer monkey off of his back. Maybe he's able to breathe a little bit easier now. If he can pick a pitch in a certain area, hit it over 95.
You could see the celebration and the relaxation as he hit home plate and turned around with his arms raised. The pitch. A fastball at the knees on the inside corner, called strike. Not the one Vladdy wants. That's a favorable call for the pitcher. And it's 0-1. Espinal, Bradley, Springer, all on. Sacks packed for Guerrero. Vladdy takes a breaking ball way out in front of home plate. That bounces off the chest of Bethencourt and then rolls up the third base line. No chance for anybody to advance. 1 ball and 1 strike on Guerrero. He 11 for his last 33 at the plate. One. Guerrero swings and misses. Went after the cutter running away, and it's 1-2.
I like that cut, Ben. To me, it felt like he was sitting on that pitch. It felt like he was sitting soft. He was a little bit late on the breaking pitch. Not early, late. It's always a good sign if you're sitting soft.
Bases loaded. The 1-2. Ground ball in the middle of the diamond. Walls, the shortstop's got it. Goes to second for 1. Turn to first. Not in time. Espinal scores. $2-0 Toronto. Springer taken off. 6-4 on the fielder's choice. Bradley stands at third with Guerrero at first.
Well, I know, Ben, there's been some people questioning kind of the hustle down the first base line, but I'll tell you, when he sniffs an RBI, when he knows the team needs him to beat it out, he hits it in the high tail, and he did it right there. that jailbreak swing we were talking about earlier. His momentum is already moving towards first base. He just hauls rear and continues what can be a big inning. The double play is an inning killer. Vladdy's hustle keeps him in that momentum.
RBI situation without a base hit as well for Bo Bichette. The pitch. Check swing. Fastball's over for a called strike one on Bo. Bo bounced to second, his only time up so far. What a September that he is having, batting .482 with 7 home runs, a 1535 OPS. Comparing stat versus stat, only one guy's been better. He plays in New York. The 0-1. Bichette fouls it back. No balls and 2 strikes. Aaron Judge with a pair of home runs last night at Fenway Park. His 56th and 57th home runs of the season. Judge has batted .487 in September with 6 home runs and a 1606 OPS. Bo looks out. The 0-2. Lined into right field, down for a base hit. Bradley's in to score. 3-0 Toronto. RBI base hit for Bo Bichette. Ribby number 88 on the year. And the Blue Jays just keep the line moving here in the third off of Drew Rasmussen.
That's exactly right. Another vintage bulletproof approach, 2-strike approach where he lets it get deep. Doesn't have any momentum going forward, just slams that heel down. This is the breaking ball from Rasmussen. That ball gets super deep. Bichette out in front, just a tick, but rifles it to right field for another opposite field base hit.
3-0 Toronto. A pair here in the third. Matt Chapman, the batter. 1 out, runners at first and second. The pitch. Fastball's high for ball 1. Blue Jays on the right-hander. Hasn't happened often. (1-0) Swing and a miss. 1 ball and 1 strike on Chapman. We mentioned how great Rasmussen has been over his last dozen starts. The 3 runs for the Blue Jays, the most that Rasmussen has allowed in any start, going all the way back to the middle of July. He allowed 3 runs against the Boston Red Sox at the Trop. (1-1) has to wait. Vladdy hustles back to second. Rasmussen gave him a look on the pivot, but no throw. Last time on the bump, Rasmussen picked up a win. Shutout baseball against the New York Yankees. Didn't issue a walk in fan 10. 1-1. On the knees. Called strike, and it's 1-2. Blue Jays have picked up wins in 19 out of their last 27. Offense has been averaging just under 5 runs. The 1-2 pitch. A little bit away. Cutter taken wide, even the count at 2-2. Blue Jays just have a little bit more lightness about them moving into the month of September. I mean, literally, you could feel it. Once the calendar got lifted, you couldn't read August anymore, and you saw September. A little bit of a relaxed atmosphere in the Blue Jays clubhouse. 2-2. Fouled back off to our right.
Yeah, and I've said it before. I think August is the toughest month to play in. You get a little jolt of energy with the trade deadline. You get the new toys, the trade acquisitions, the shininess of those kind of glimmer off a little bit. And just the heat of summer usually just wears you down at that point.
2-2 is low. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Kevin Cash himself went to the bullpen phone, picked it up. It rang, and there's some movement down to the bullpen beyond right field. The Rays are stirring the pen with Rasmussen struggling here in the third. 1 out, runners on first and second. 3 balls and 2 strikes. The payoff pitch. Ground ball out to the shortstop. Walls charges in, goes to second for 1. Only out that the Rays will get. Blue Jays will plant runners on the corners. Chapman bounces into the fielder's choice. Guerrero takes third base.
I'll tell you, Ben, I've been a little bit surprised at Rasmussen's usage. So we talked about the four-seam fastball, the cutter, the slider. When he's faced the Blue Jays, he has typically thrown a lot of those slider cutters, primarily slider cutter. Tonight's game, a lot of fastballs, way more fastballs than Blue Jays hitters are accustomed seeing, and I wonder if that's playing right into their hands.
Josh Fleming, by the way, is the lefty loosening up. This is the first of 3 lefties in the lineup. Raimel Tapia, Jackie Bradley Jr., the others. Kevin Biggio bats with 2 out runners on the corners. A fastball on Biggio, a little bit off the outside corner, called strike. 0-1 on Kevin. The third baseman, Yandy Diaz, starting on the infield turf. A triangle defense alignment on the right side of the diamond, with Walls, the shortstop, off to the second base side, and Paredes starting in shallow right. 0-1. Check swing. Pitch clipped the inside corner, put Biggio in the hole. 0-2. Rasmussen pulls the glove off his left arm, grabs the baseball with 2 bare hands, gives it a good squeeze like he's rubbing an avocado. Now the hands come together for the rosy cheeks of Drew Rasmussen. The 0-2. In the air up the left field line. Long road over for Arozarena. That ball will hit the screen and then deflect back towards the field of play. No balls and 2 strikes on Biggio. Third inning, Blue Jays in front, 3-0. The 0-2, runner from first goes. Biggio clubs it in the air, out to left center field. Arozarena along with Margot. Arozarena is there to make the catch and retire the side. Blue Jays get busy at the start of this inning. The first 2 get on. The first 2 come in on RBIs from Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and Bo Bichette. 3-0 Blue Jays as we go to the 4th. This is Blue Jays baseball, served up by Jack Link's Meat Snacks on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Just like us at Bears Radio, our friends at Office Revolution really get the game. They furnished a global sports marketing agency in Fulton Market that won Crane's coolest offices. They know work is not just about conference rooms. This space has leather couches, bar stools by the tap, and even stadium seating for brainstorming great plays. Office Revolution knows your office represents your culture, brand, and should be a space where the team wants to work. Visit office-revolution.com to see what they can do.
Get ready for Chicago Gourmet. This September 22nd through 25th, Chicago Gourmet is creating a stir with a weekend of spirited events, serving up delicious food, premium wines, spirits, and beer. Join world-class chefs Rick Bayless, Stephanie Izard, Danielle Boulou, Sarah Gruenberg, and more for gourmet fun on the Harris Theater rooftop at Millennium Park. Tickets will sell out. Get yours today at chicagogourmet.org. From the Illinois Restaurant Association, Southern Glazers Wine and Spirits, and Choose Chicago.
You know those headlines that make you stop scrolling and actually read an article? I'm Mike Rogers. Those are the kinds of stories I'm diving into on my podcast, Something Offbeat, like the caterpillar infestation in Maine that had us rethinking our relationship with insects.
We were talking about a time 300 million years ago, if you can imagine. There was a dragonfly. It had a 2-foot wingspan.
Just search for Something Offbeat in the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Food and drink.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Goodbye! Bo Bichette ties the game with a soaring home run.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan.
This 4th inning is being presented by Bet365. With Bet365, you can watch thousands of live games, build your own bet, and even make a bet while the game is still being played. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. 3-0 Blue Jays. Randy Arozarena will lead it off for Tampa Bay. Ross Stripling misses a little bit high. Knuckle curve just floating a little bit up for Arozarena. Right back into the line. The right-hander's 1-0. Over for a called strike. We've seen the entire gamut so far from Ross Stripling. Fastball, sinker, slider, changeup, knuckle curve. Arozarena swings, fouls off the slider. He's behind 1 ball and 2 strikes. Randy Arozarena, Harold Ramirez, G-Man Choi, 3, 4, and 5 in the order for Tampa Bay. So far, only a double and a walk surrendered by Ross Stripling. 1-2. Fouled away at the plate. The walk is the scoop there. You hardly ever see walks from Ross Stripling. He knows how much of a detriment they can become for him because he pitches to so much contact. That contact is something that the Rays are trying to expose, leaning in and being aggressive early in counts. The 1-2. Swing and a miss. Arozarena cut at the slider. He's retired on strikes. 4th strikeout for Stripling tonight.
Yeah, they're definitely in ambush mode, and for an intelligent guy like Stripling, that's really, really good. That just makes him move the first couple pitches just a little bit maybe off center. Take advantage of that aggressiveness. As a catcher, you just love having guys with pinpoint control like this and an aggressive offense. You feel like you can get really efficient with your pitch count.
Harold Ramirez, the batter. Takes on the outside corner. First pitch slider, and it's 0-1.
You can trust that you can get on the corners 0-0, and he's going to give you a competitive pitch. Really, really good to catch in front of.
The 0-1 ripped up the line and left, hooking into the corner, and that is a foul ball. Into the corner and caught by a fan. On the fly, the fan caught that one-handed, a youngster right in the front row.
Wearing a powdered blue Jays jersey, just reaches right over, snags it, both hands up in the air, yes. And then I think it's that moment of, I hope I didn't do anything wrong there, right?
Yeah.
But then, okay, nobody's throwing me out. Yes, did you see that?
The 0-2. Slider's low, 1 ball and 2 strikes. Yeah, now it's cool. Now you can react. Here's the video clip for tomorrow at school. Hey, guys and gals, come over and take a peek at this. Guess what I did last night? The 1-2. Popped him up. Shallow and right. Back from first goes Biggio. Arms spread apart. He wants the play. He makes the catch. Ramirez retired. 2 down.
Always loved playing behind guys like Stripling. They're going to be in the zone. The opposing hitters are going to put the ball in play, keep the defense active on their toes. Kind of the opposite of just the ball, maybe a strikeout. Oh, now there's a ball in play. I got to get going. No. Stripling is the complete opposite. Everybody on that field is ready for action.
G-Man Choi, the batter, swings and misses at the first pitch. Strike 1 on G-Man Choi. Homered yesterday in one of the games of the doubleheader. Blue Jays and Rays split them. Tampa Bay took the opener, the nightcap belonging to the Blue Jays. 0-1. Changeup missed away. 1 ball and 1 strike. There is something to be said about rhythm within the game, and that's one of the reasons the rule changes are applicable here, because it is designed to create pace, to keep the rhythm. The 1-1. That's low. 2 balls and 1 strike on Choi. Now, does that promote contact? Maybe. Still have to swing the bat, get the ball in play. The 2-1. Swing and a miss. 2 balls and 2 strikes. But what it will do is prevent the mental gymnastics of both pitchers and then hitters going through in between pitch routines. The clock is just for accountability.
Yep. I think it'll get rid of a lot of the LAM stuff. Look at me.
The 2-2. Fouled away at the plate. Battle continues for Choi and Stripling.
You know what I mean by that? Just the, okay, everybody check and make sure you see me undoing my batting gloves and rearrange my necklace and make sure my shoelaces are tied. Just kind of the dead moments in the game that you're not thinking about anything in the box. Just get in there and take a hack, buddy.
Shift up to the right, the 2-2 pitch. In the air, straightaway center. Hit pretty well. Springer going back at the wall, leaps in the air, makes the catch! George Springer leaves his feet, hops at the top of the wall, and rips it out of the sky. Robbing G-Man Choi of an extra base hit and retiring the Rays. Ross Stripling turns away Tampa Bay 1-2-3 here in the fourth inning. 3-0 Toronto. This is Blue Jays baseball, served up by Jack Link's Meat Snacks on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Just like us at Bears Radio, our friends at Office Revolution really get the game. They furnished a global sports marketing agency in Fulton Market that won Crane's coolest offices. They know work is not just about conference rooms. This space has leather couches, bar stools by the tap, and even stadium seating for brainstorming great plays. Office Revolution knows your office represents your culture, brand, and should be a space where the team wants to work. Visit office-revolution.com to see what they can do.
Get ready for Chicago Gourmet. This September 22nd through 25th, Chicago Gourmet is creating a stir with a weekend of spirited events, serving up delicious food, premium wines, spirits, and beer. Join world-class chefs Rick Bayless, Stephanie Izard, Danielle Boulou, Sarah Gruenberg, and more for gourmet fun on the Harris Theater rooftop at Millennium Park. Tickets will sell out. Get yours today at chicagogourmet.org. From the Illinois Restaurant Association, Southern Glazers Wine and Spirits, and Choose Chicago.
Fantasy football leagues are won on the waiver wire and with trades and with savvy starter sit decisions. The Fantasy Football Today podcast will help you along the way with the best advice on how to manage your team and dominate your league. With 8 episodes per week, Fantasy Football Today is the only resource you'll need. Start sit, grade the trade, fantasy cops to settle your league disputes, and so much more. Check out Fantasy Football Today anywhere podcasts are found.
Tapia, Santiago Espinal coming to the plate with the Blue Jays in front, 3-0. Drew Rasmussen rocks and deals. Jansen rips the first pitch he sees up the left field line. Bangs off the sidewall, shoots into the corner. Easy stand-up double to start this fourth inning for the Blue Jays and Danny Jansen. Double number 3 on the season for Danny Jansen. He was part of the rally yesterday for the Toronto Blue Jays. John Schneider leaned on him late with a little bit of depth in the catching core. Said, go up there, give me a good at-bat. He worked a walk as the Blue Jays were trying to rally. He ambushes the first pitch, and he slips it just inside the line for a leadoff double here in the fourth. Raimel Tapia will dig in. Blue Jays got a solo home run in the first inning from Vladimir Guerrero Jr., number 100 in his career. Pitch to Tapia, bounce to the plate. RBIs from Vladimir Guerrero Jr. and Bo Bichette in the third. Vladdy bounced into a fielder's choice that cashed into a run. Line drive to right field for Bo Bichette to make it 3-0. Corners in. Tapia stares out. Rasmussen peeks back at second. Out of the plate. Fastball's high. Last inning, there was action in the bullpen. They had the big lefty and Josh Fleming loosening up. Bullpen is quiet behind Rasmussen now in the fourth. Jansen strolls his lead, the 2-0. Off the inside corner, called strike, and it's 2-1. It's going to be a wide zone tonight. Looks like you have to go up there with hitting in mind. Both inside and outside. Two-one. Too far inside with a cutter. 3 balls and 1 strike on Raimel Tapia. We're coming to you this afternoon, evening, in the Crown Rust Protection broadcast booth, I guess depending on where you're tuning in. Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Crown Rust Protection, Canada's #1 rust protection. Book your appointment today. Crown, protect, maintain, save. 3-1. Foul the way to the left. 3 balls and 2 strikes on Tapia.
3-2 here to Tapia. As the left-handed batter, runner at second base, you've just got to find a way to ultimately, at the end of the AB, get Danny Jansen standing at third. Left-handed bat, right-handed pitcher. Try and drive him in with a liner to right field, but at some point he's got to get to third base.
3-2. This will do it. Ground ball out to the second baseman. Paredes bobbles it, recovers with a bare hand, throws to first. Jansen will take third base on a grounder to the right side. Paredes recovering at second base. He got a 4-3 putout. 1 down for Santiago Espinal.
Yeah, he's going to take an 0 for 1 there, but that's a productive out for Toronto. In that now Espinal is going to draw the Tampa Bay defense in on the grass. And because of Tapia's ability to get Jansen over, Espinal's just got to get this ball into the outfield for an easy RBI.
Blue Jays lead 3-0, trying to extend it. The pitch to Santiago Espinal is low, ball 1. Espinal started that rally in the 3rd inning with a leadoff base hit, rolled right back up the middle. He's 1 for 1. His first hit in the series against the Rays after an 0 for 9 start. (1-0). Pulled towards the shortstop, out of the reach of Walls, past Diaz, trickling through the infield dirt. Easy run for the Blue Jays to pick up. Jansen is in from third with the infield drawn in. Walls went reaching to his right. Diaz ranging to his left. Couldn't react quickly enough to get it clean. It slips through, and the Blue Jays extend the lead 4-0.
Yeah, Jansen at third base running the contact play. As soon as he sees Santiago Espinal's bat in motion, he's getting the lead down third base, and he just takes off. It was contact all the way, no matter where that ball was going. On the ground, Danny was going, is able to score.
Here's Jackie Bradley Jr. Takes on the inside corner, strike 1. It goes down as a base hit, by the way, even though Walls got leather on it. It was a rangy play. Espinal's 2 for 2. Picks up the RBI, his 50th of the year. 4-0 Blue Jays. 0-1. Fouled off at the plate. Got a good chunk of the catcher and the home plate umpire.
That's just good baseball, Ben. I know it was an out in front swing by Espinal. Probably not what you're looking for. You're trying to get that ball in the air, preferably up in the middle of the field, but he gets the job done, and it's a run that's manufactured. It's a double. It's a get him over and get him in. That's the get him on, get him over, get him in. We've seen the Blue Jays struggle with that in months past. And it's a good way to, just keep adding on to this lead. You just never know which run is going to be the winning run so early in the ball game. Only the bottom of the 4th here to be able to tack on, to manufacture a run. It's a good sign for a team that has had trouble with that in the past.
1 down, runner at first. Another throw over by Rasmussen, chases back Espinal. The lefty had been loosening earlier, and Josh Fleming getting ready for this pocket. In the bottom half, the Blue Jays have 3 left-handed batters. Now the top of the order is looming. So a little bit more leverage arm is being deployed. And that is Javi Guerra. Bradley swings and bounces one out to second. Paredes feeds Walls, the shortstop, at second for 1. Return to first in time to get an inning double play. Easy 2-hopper handled by Paredes. Starts the inning ender. But the Blue Jays do get on the board, taking advantage of the leadoff double from Danny Jansen. We go to the 5th. It's 4-0 Toronto. This is Blue Jays baseball, served up by Jack Link's Meat Snacks on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Just like us at Bears Radio, our friends at Office Revolution really get the game. They furnished a global sports marketing agency in Fulton Market that won Crane's coolest offices. They know work is not just about conference rooms. This space has leather couches, bar stools by the tap, and even stadium seating for brainstorming great plays. Office Revolution knows your office represents your culture, brand, and should be a space where the team wants to work. Visit office-revolution.com to see what they can do. Business IT Source, an award-winning provider of IT for business, is now part of Computer Center, one of the largest international IT solutions providers in the world. This offers large corporations the best of all worlds. Expanded capability with personalized service, including our no-cost stocking and integration, so products arrive on time and ready to deploy. Make Business IT Source and Dell Technologies part of your winning team. Business IT Source, the IT source for your business.
This September, Chicago Gourmet is going Uberboard. Join host Chef Sarah Gruenberg for Prost in the Park, a new Oktoberfest-style event with chef takes on classic German delights, Uma bands, fun cocktails, and delicious craft beer. From familiar favorites to a big collection of local craft breweries, get ready to toast at this Sunday Fun Day on the Harris Theater rooftop at Millennium Park. Prost in the Park, Sunday, September 25th. Tickets at chicagogourmet.org. Presented by Performance Food Service.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
That's a no-doubter. Teoscar Hernandez connects with a grand slam.
Sportsnet 590, The Fan.
This fifth inning is being presented by Bet365. With Bet365, you can bet on things like player props, totals, or money lines across many different sports. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. Blue Jays with a 4-0 lead for Ross Stripling. He's been very efficient, very effective tonight. Manuel Margot starts the squares, try to sneak his way aboard. Shears off the bunt, back for strike one. Margot with a double and the lone hit allowed by Stripling. 0-1. Inside, 1-1 strike on Stripling. But a couple of deep drives, none deeper, more challenging than the one off the bat of G-Man Choi. George Springer went racing back to his right, in front of the wall, left his feet. 1-1. Tapped off foul into the glove of Danny Jansen, held, and it's 1-2. Springer with a really nice leaping grab in front of the wall. 65th pitch. Looped out to right. Jackie Bradley Jr. right there. Margot retired. One down to start the fifth inning. The out-of-town scoreboard is being brought to you by St. Louis Bar and Grill. Game on, Canada. Help us celebrate 30 devilishly good years of being your Blue Jays headquarters. Join us for wings, beer, cocktails, and more. We've got all the bases covered. Download the new app or visit stlouiswings.com for more. St. Louis Bar and Grill, always devilishly good. Broken back grounder off to the left side, charging in at short. Picked up by Bo Bichette. Easy toss with Bethencourt powering down. Quickly 2 away here in the fifth inning. One score of note that the Blue Jays and their fan base certainly interested in that wild card race. What in the world's going on in Seattle? It has been a remarkable summer for the Mariners. Mariners got a good start today over the San Diego Padres. Julio Rodriguez jumping in on the very first pitch for the Mariners in the leadoff spot. Clubbed his 26th of the year. Mariners would go on to beat the Padres 6-1. Isaac Paredes takes a strike. Josh Fleming is up and loosening again in the bullpen. Drew Rasmussen, meanwhile, is marching back and forth in the dugout on the first base side. 0-1's outside on Paredes. 1-1 strike. Elsewhere on the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard, we check in at Fenway Park. They're in the top of the fifth inning, and zeros are on the board. Yankees and Red Sox, no score. The pitch. Looped up the line in right, fading towards the chalk and in for a base hit. It's dropped in for a single. An extra base for Paredes. He wants a double. Jackie Bradley Jr.'s throw is late at second base. Hustle double on the blooper up the line and right. Runner at second base, and just the second hit surrendered by Stripling tonight.
And it was almost an out at second base. Bradley Jr. just hauling to go grab that ball before it caroms into the right field grandstands, makes the spin, and throws an absolute seed to Bichette just a half a step late.
Stripling 70th pitch. Hooked foul, past first base, strike one. Blue Jays 4, Rays nothing. Tampa's half of the fifth. Orioles are losing again in the Beltway series. Nationals with a 2-1 lead over Baltimore. They play in the sixth. 0-1 in the dirt. 1 ball and 1 strike. We'll keep a peek at the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard all night for you. One. Wall swings and misses. 1 ball and 2 strikes. You know, one thing I have my eyes peeled on too. Corbin Burns, Adam Wainwright, the pitching matchup tonight in St. Louis. But I'm watching Albert Pujols.
Yep.
I want that march to 700 to continue all the way to the end. 1-2, low and away. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
That'd be something. 700.
Yeah, you can get wrapped up in watching Aaron Judge, of course. 57 home runs now this season. Eyeing that franchise record for the New York Yankees, held by Roger Maris, and is 61 in a single season. The 2-2 in the air out to right field. Bradley racing to his left, tracks it down. Jackie Bradley Jr., absolutely dazzling defensively. He can change the game. And he helps out Ross Stripling preserve the shutout bid with a great grab in right field. Paredes stranded at second. Midway through the fifth, it's the Blue Jays 4 and the Rays nothing. This is Blue Jays baseball served up by Jack Link's Meat Snacks on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Just like us at Bears Radio, our friends at Office Revolution really get the game. They furnished a global sports marketing agency in Fulton Market that won Crane's coolest offices. They know work is not just about conference rooms. This space has leather couches, bar stools by the tap, and even stadium seating for brainstorming great plays. Office Revolution knows your office represents your culture, brand, and should be a space where the team wants to work. Visit office-revolution.com to see what they can do.
Get ready for Chicago Gourmet. This September 22nd through 25th, Chicago Gourmet is creating a stir with a weekend of spirited events, serving up delicious food, premium wines, spirits, and beer. Join world-class chefs Rick Bayless, Stephanie Izard, Danielle Boulou, Sarah Gruenberg, and more for gourmet fun on the Harris Theater rooftop at Millennium Park. Tickets will sell out. Get yours today at chicagogourmet.org. From the Illinois Restaurant Association, Southern Glazers Wine and Spirits, and Choose Chicago.
The listening you love is on the free Odyssey app. Your trusted local radio stations, coverage of your favorite teams, live news from your hometown, and millions of podcasts on demand. Best of all, you can completely customize your listening experience. Follow topics you care about, like leagues and teams. Pause or rewind your local sports and news, and add shows to your queue to catch up later. There's a lot to listen to, so get started and download the free Odyssey app today.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
You can forget it! A go-ahead 3-run homer for George Springer!
Departure for Drew Rasmussen. This pitching change is brought to you by Certainteed, the pro's choice for roofing, siding, drywall, insulation, and ceiling systems. Certainteed, pro all the way. The lefty making his 9th appearance of the season is Josh Fleming. He rocks into the windup, and the pitch to George Springer, swing and a miss. That's strike one. Springer, Vladimir Guerrero Jr., and then Bo Bichette. 1, 2, 3 in the order. Fleming had been loosening earlier in the ball game. Drew Rasmussen lifted after 4 frames. 4 runs, all earned on 6 hits. Springer takes away. 1 ball and 1 strike. A walk and a strikeout for Drew Rasmussen. This is certainly a bump in the road after very good work through August and September. 2 hopper down to third. Diaz, quick exchange, a throw to first in time. Springer's retired, starting the 5th.
Yeah, they had a clip, Ben, of manager Kevin Cash telling Rasmussen he was out of the game, and he was fired up. He was not ready to come out, and I don't blame him. Look, on the year, 10-4, 2.5 ERA. I think he's earned a little bit longer of a leash, but looking back at his outing, I'm just really surprised at how many four-seam fastballs he threw to this Blue Jays offense. They'll take it because he's been dominant with that slider cutter in the past against them.
Clearly, the game plan didn't match up, and for the Blue Jays team that had already posted 6 hits and 4 runs on him, third time through the order, that was a no-fly zone for the Rays. There's Vladdy. Takes a fastball from the lefty outside. That's ball 1. Vladimir Guerrero Jr., a landmark 100th home run. His 28th of the year, career number 100. A 1-0 hit in the air out to straightaway center. Playable for Margot. Edge of the track where he makes the catch in front of his cap. 2 down. Well, he hit one of the biggest home runs in Blue Jays history, and now is your chance to win some exclusive signed merchandise from the one, the only Joe Carter. This is only one of 17 incredible early bird prizes still available during the Jays Care Super September 50-50 jackpot. You'll have a chance to win a life-changing mega jackpot that'll build throughout this month, and we're flirting already tonight at $700,000. First pitch to Bowen there for a called strike. That's right, $700,000. By the time I actually finish this read, it could be over $700,000. Fleming's 0-1. That's high. 1 ball and 1 strike. Get your tickets right now. If you're sitting anywhere in Ontario, you can log online at bluejays.com/5050. That's bluejays.com/5050. 1-1 on the outside corner, called strike. 1-2. Why am I reading this read and you're already on your phone? Are you buying tickets right now?
Yep. I'm looking for a retirement package. That would help out a lot.
That'd be great. All of a sudden, Joseph, you're chartering home. 1-2's down and in. 2 balls and 2 strikes.
No, I would just buy the radio station, and me and you could fly all over and do whatever we wanted together as a pair.
There we go.
Maybe even bring Blair and Parker on with us, too. Who knows?
They'll be here tonight with us. The 2-2 outside. 3 balls and 2 strikes. Quoting at $700,000. $700,000 and a mega jackpot that will continue to grow next week when the Blue Jays are on the road and the week after when they're back at home. Bichette fouls the pitch away off to the right. Battle continues at 3 balls and 2 strikes. Go to bluejays.com/5050. That's bluejays.com/5050. That's $700,000, by the way, is take home. And it's going to grow clearly well over $1 million. 3-2. Ground ball up the middle. Past the bag at second. Walls ranging to his left. Fields and throws on to first in time. That'll retire Bichette. And the Blue Jays are done 1-2-3 here in the 5th against the new lefty, Josh Fleming. Off to the 6th we go. Blue Jays 4, Rays nothing. This is Blue Jays baseball, served up by Jack Link's Meat Snacks on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Make your next career move with 2 Men in a Truck. The company is hiring motivated and enthusiastic team members for mover, driver, and customer service positions. And if you're looking for more, professional advancement is always a possibility. In fact, 75% of 2 Men in a Truck managers started in frontline positions. Now is the time to apply. Visit 2meninatruck.ca and click careers.
2 Men and a Truck, the movers who care.
Baseball is in full swing. Why not enjoy great Pilsner taste from Miller Lite, the official beer sponsor of MLB? 90 calories and 3 grams of carbs per 355 milliliters. Must be legal drinking age. Major League Baseball trademarks used with permission.
This game tip is brought to you by the always game-ready Jack Link's Meat Snacks. Never go to the bathroom twice in an inning. If you do, don't be surprised if you lose your seat to a pile of jackets or meat snacks. Jack Link's. Feed your wild side, baseball fans.
At TSC, we care about shopping better. Discover exclusive daily offers on all your favorite brands. In-home, kitchen, fashion, and jewelry. Shop your way with interest-free Easy Pay. Enjoy the products you love at amazing prices. And feel good about your choices. Because smart, savvy shopping is always worth it. Let's shop better at tsc.ca.
Down the stretch, every game matters because they've got eyes on October. Join the ride on the playoff race with your Toronto Blue Jays on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Beautiful night as we move into the sixth inning here in downtown Toronto. It's presented by Bet365. Just download the app and see for yourself why Bet365 is the world's favorite sportsbook. 19 plus, play responsibly, Ontario only. Ross Stripling will drop in strike number one on Yandy Diaz. Ross starts his tour the third time through the order for Tampa Bay. The 0-1. Pulled sharply foul outside third base. No balls and 2 strikes on Yandy Diaz. Blue Jays 4, Rays nothing. Ross Stripling has allowed just 2 doubles and issued a walk. That's it. Manuel Margot with a 2-out double in the second, a 2-out double in the 5th inning by Isak Freitas, and a 2-out walk in the third. 0-2. Ground ball past his reach, up the middle, backhanded by Espinal. Sets his feet, throws to first in time. The longer of the bounces cleared the mound in the extended glove of Ross Stripling. The second hop with a range of Espinal off to his right. Nice play in the middle of the diamond. 1 down. Clear night, comfortable. Feels like playoff weather, doesn't it? Certainly does. We're coming to you from the Crown Rust Protection broadcast booth. Protect your vehicle with Crown, Canada's #1 rust protection. Book your appointment today. Crown, protect, maintain, save. Knuckle curve to Wander Franco. Ross Stripling starts out another hitter with the first pitch strike. 0-1. Swing and a miss. Big swing by Franco. Out in front of the changeup. No balls and 2 strikes. Adam Simber is starting to loosen in the bullpen for the Blue Jays, while Ross Stripling is cruising here through 5+. The 0-2. Ground ball rolled towards second. Shuffling to his right. Espinal picks this one up and throws to first. In time, 2 down.
I don't like it, Ben. My eyes are telling me that Stripling is absolutely dealing. It's not a 1-run game. He has everything working today. I mean, his usage is unbelievable. 30% changeup, 25 four-seam, 18 slider, 18 sinker. He's mixing it all in.
Randy Arozarena hops in, fouls the first pitch back. Rays are playing into Ross Stripling's hand, too, and 4 Pete Walker and John Schneider. They're being aggressive. They're not working deep at bats.
That's exactly right. And he has the pitch ability in terms of different pitches and different zones to attack those weaknesses.
The 0-2, fouled away at the plate. No balls and 2 strikes.
He has stayed unpredictable. So we've watched the Rays this is the 4th game in a row now, right? And we've seen pretty much these everyday guys. We've seen their swings. This, for me, has been the most uncomfortable that a lot of these guys have looked, especially guys at the top. Yandy Diaz, he's looked in between all night. And that's product of Ross Stripling adding and subtracting, going east, west, north, and south. He's just such a tough pitcher to try and zone up.
The 0-2 popped him up. Shallow on the left side. The third baseman, Chapman, is there on the dirt. Makes the catch. How about Ross Stripling? A 2-hit shutout through 6 innings against the Tampa Bay Rays. Middle of the 6th, 4-0 Toronto. This is Blue Jays baseball, served up by Jack Link's Meat Snacks on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Just like us at Bears Radio, our friends at Office Revolution really get the game. They furnished a global sports marketing agency in Fulton Market that won Crane's coolest offices. They know work is not just about conference rooms. This space has leather couches, bar stools by the tap, and even stadium seating for brainstorming great plays. Office Revolution knows your office represents your culture, brand, and should be a space where the team wants to work. Visit office-revolution.com to see what they can do.
This September, Chicago Gourmet is going Uberboard. Join host Chef Sarah Gruenberg for Prost in the Park, a new Oktoberfest-style event with chef takes on classic German delights, Upa bands, fun cocktails, and delicious craft beer. From familiar favorites to a big collection of local craft breweries, get ready to toast at this Sunday Fun Day on the Harris Theater rooftop at Millennium Park. Prost in the Park, Sunday, September 25th. Tickets at chicagogourmet.org. Presented by Performance Food Service.
Looking for great pay and a supportive team ready to help deliver what matters? Join UPS and a seasonal job could turn into a rewarding career. Right now, we're hiring warehouse workers, package delivery drivers, and tractor-trailer drivers throughout Chicagoland, where you can earn bonuses for some roles and up to $30 an hour. Shift your life. Shift your world. Shift to UPS today. Apply at upsjobs.com/shift. Make the shift. Make a difference.
Call the man Timberland because he produces hit after hit after hit. Bo Bichette and the Blue Jays play here on Sportsnet 590 The
Fan. Blue Jays on top 4-0 as we move into the home sixth inning here at Rogers Center. I'm Ben Wagner with Caleb Joseph. Show Ali back at baseball control tonight. The lefty Josh Fleming will continue to twirl. Here's the pitch to Chapman. Fastball missed outside. That's ball one. Outfield starts deep and lined up straight away. Second baseman Paredes flanked towards the middle. The 1-0. Off speed outside. 2 balls and no strikes. Chapman in the cleanup spot today. It's going to be a lineup without Lourdes Gurriel Jr. for a while. Pitch clipped the bottom part of the zone for strike one. Injury report brought to you by Bergmanis Pereira Personal Injury Lawyers. If life has thrown you a curveball and you're striking out with your insurance company, get ahead of the count and call Bergmanis Pereira Personal Injury Lawyers, your cleanup hitters. 2-1 in the air out to center. Margot froze. Now drifts back with plenty of room to work. Makes the catch in front of the 400-foot marker. There's one down to start the sixth. Visit bplawyers.ca. Bergmanis Pereira, Personal Injury Lawyers. Blue Jays really patient with Lourdes Gurriel Jr. He's had some creaky legs for a couple of months. Tried to nurse him through, but that extended effort in Baltimore during the last road trip tweaked the hamstring. Bad enough where he had to land on the injured list. He'll have more imaging done by the end of this week. Kevin Biggio steps in. Breaking ball flopped in there for a called strike one.
Yeah, we were talking about it earlier, the hamstrings and the obliques.
0-1 bounce to first. 2 hopper handled by Choi. Jacks it over his own bag. 2 down.
2 of the most finicky injuries in the game, and that just the timetable for those 2 injuries are so difficult. It's not like a broken ankle where you can really say 4 to 6 weeks and it's kind of done. I mean, I've seen hamstrings take 10 days. I've seen them take 3 months. Same with the oblique. And man, it's just too bad that I think it's a very mild strain for Lourdes.
Danny Jansen takes a changeup up and away. That's ball one on Jano.
Which is good, but again, you got to try and ramp up to 100%, hoping you don't retweak it and start all the way back over.
1-0. A little bit high. 2 balls and no strikes. Blue Jays with a 4-0 lead. The 2-0. Swing and a miss. 2 balls and 1 strike. Every body is sore in some capacity this time of the season. If you're injured, you certainly don't want to do that because that likely means the season is over. The 2-1. Check swing. Did he go? Called for going around by the home plate umpire. 2-2.
Yeah, and Blue Jays obviously have the end game in mind with Lourdes. They're in a decent spot standing-wise. Feel pretty good about it. No need to rush and do something silly.
2-2, down and away. By the way, that standings update brought to you by Bet365, the world's favorite sports book with 63 million members worldwide. 19-plus, play responsibly, Ontario only. 3-2. Hooked up the left field line. That's another base hit for Danny Jansen. He drops it on the exact same spot he had his first. He's digging for second, a head first dive, and he's got another double. Up the line and left. This one hit the retaining wall. Shot back toward Randy Arozarena. Jansen was off to the races, hustling for the extra 90 feet. He's got a second double tonight.
Yeah, I really think he found something on that road trip in Texas. Friday night's game, the hero. Saturday, another couple really solid base knocks. And don't forget, early in the season, he was absolutely mashing the ball. before a couple injuries sent him to the IL. Looks like he might be really rounding back into form.
There's Raimel Tapia. First pitch rolled right back up the middle. Base hit into center field. Jansen's being waved to the plate. There will be no throw. RBI single for Raimel Tapia. A 2-out rally from Jansen with a double. Tapia right back up the middle. 5-0 Toronto.
We were talking yesterday, Ben, about kind of the baseball gods and playing the game the right way. Tapia takes an unselfish AB. He moves over. Jansen, his previous at-bat, gives himself up, and now he becomes the hero. I believe in that type of stuff. And a great AB to continue to extend, to continue to tack on. Those tack-on runs so important in these type of games.
How important has Raimel Tapia been to the depth and the success of the Toronto Blue Jays? Santiago Espinal takes a fastball strike from Fleming.
And I don't think when Ross Atkins acquired Tapia that people realized the impact he could potentially have. And he's just been an incredible fill-in for guys hitting the IL.
The 0-1 off the outside corner. Espinal didn't like that. Thought it was too wide. Change up, though. Good enough for the home plate umpire to move the count to 0-2.
What's been so impressive about Tapia is the playing time has been so irregular. And trust me, folks, it's one of the hardest things to do is to come off the bench with irregular playing time and actually produce.
0-2, ground ball past the left side of the mound, juggled by Walls as he stops it, throws to first, on a bounce, Choi can't handle it. Everybody's safe as the ball rolls off to the right towards the end of the dugout. It's picked up by Bethencourt. Good recognition on the bases. Tapia realized it got past Choi early. He popped up and takes third. They're on the corners with 2 out and more twisting of the screws on the Rays defensively.
That's exactly right. Talk about the Rays and the way they like to play. They like to apply pressure, and we saw that in the first 3 games of this series. It's the Blue Jays that are applying pressure, and this is a good hustle play to second base. It seems like just a normal ground ball taking Walls to his left, but the hustle of Tapia forces Walls to kind of juggle it just a tick, knowing he can't throw to second base to get Tapia, who's hustling, and then has to rush the throw for a hustling Espinal at first base. The play sped up on him, bounced it. Choi wasn't able to pick it up. And it's those intangible plays that can really benefit a team. It's like the Jays are beating the Rays at their own game.
Danny digs for the double. Raimel rolls one up the middle for an RBI base hit. And then Santiago Espinal just strokes one in the middle. First and third for Jackie Bradley Jr. And the pitch is low. That's ball 1. The Blue Jays have a 5-0 lead. Toronto has scored in 4 of their 6 at-bats tonight. Looking for more 2-out noise here in the 6th. The pitch. Swing and a miss. 1 ball and 1 strike. Just some housekeeping. Santiago Espinal with that ball up the middle. Walls juggled it for a little bit. They have ruled it. Oh, now the air has popped up. Now the air goes up on the Rays. Fleming deals. Runner from first goes. Swing and a miss by Bradley. Throw down to the bag at second in time. Espinal caught stealing, and that retires the side. The Blue Jays get 1 run on 2 hits. There was an error and a man left. Blue Jays 5, Rays nothing as we go to the 7th. This is Blue Jays baseball served up by Jack Link's Meat Snacks on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Every All-Star, every slugger, every gold.
Just like us at Bears Radio, our friends at Office Revolution really get the game. They furnished a global sports marketing agency in Fulton Market that won Crane's coolest offices. They know work is not just about conference rooms. This space has leather couches, bar stools by the tap, and even stadium seating for brainstorming great plays. Office Revolution knows your office represents your culture, brand, and should be a space where the team wants to work. Visit office-revolution.com to see what they can do.
This September, Chicago Gourmet is going Uberboard. Join host Chef Sarah Gruenberg for Prost in the Park, a new Oktoberfest-style event with chef takes on classic German delights, Upa bands, fun cocktails, and delicious craft beer. From familiar favorites to a big collection of local craft breweries, get ready to toast at this Sunday Fun Day on the Harris Theater rooftop at Millennium Park. Prost in the Park, Sunday, September 25th. Tickets at chicagogourmet.org. Presented by Performance Food Service.
Looking for stories about the Black community and you don't want to wait until, February? Then check out Beyond Black History Month, the podcast that tells inclusive stories year-round. Like how today's labor movement is connected to the civil rights movement, and why Black neighborhoods keep getting hit with water crisis after water crisis.
We're still being charged for water that we can't use.
Listen and subscribe to Beyond Black History Month on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts from.
The listening you love is on the free Odyssey app. Your trusted local radio stations, coverage of your favorite teams, live news from your hometown, and millions of podcasts on demand. Best of all, you can completely customize your listening experience. Follow topics you care about, like leagues and teams. Pause or rewind your local sports and news, and add shows to your queue to catch up later. There's a lot to listen to, so get started and download the free Odyssey app today.
Wide open roof here in downtown Toronto on a gorgeous night for Game 4 of 5 between the Blue Jays and the Rays. Ross Stripling has been elite tonight. A 5-0 lead in the first pitch to Harold Ramirez is drilled out to deep left field and out of here in no time flat. Harold Ramirez smokes his 6th of the season to start the 7th inning. That's just the 3rd hit allowed by Ross Stripling tonight. And it produces the Rays' first run.
So what, Ben? So what? Back to work. That's what a 5-run lead gives you. It gives you the ability to continue to get in the strike zone, force contact, and if you give up a solo, who cares? I love the fact that he's back out there. I love the fact that he's about to attack right here to Choi. He's not going to get shied away from that solo homer. Guarantee it.
Shift off to the right. The pitch to Choi. Curveball in there for a called strike 1. That didn't look like it was an awful pitch. It had the inside corner. Ramirez just able to turn it around. 0-1. Fastball up and out. 1 ball and 1 strike.
No, it was a really good two-seam, and they've been wearing Harold Ramirez out on the inner half as he is in the top 3rd in the big leagues on pitches in the outer half of the zone.
1-1. Pulled down to first. There's the sure hands of Piggio. Stays with it. Jogs straight to the bag. 1 down.
So that's one of those cases where 4 games into it, you as a hitter go, okay, I'm sick and tired of getting pitched inside. I'm just going to ambush Heater. And he did it. Was able to clip Stripling. Might be the end of the night for him, Ben.
Here comes John Schneider. He's off the top step of that third base dugout. Ross Stripling, a great pitching performance tonight. 6 1/3 for Ross Stripling. He's going to hear it from the Rogers Center faithful. The deepest start since August the 17th. The ovation for one of the most important pieces of the Blue Jays rotation. Ross Stripling gives a thumbs up. He departs with 1 down here in the top of the 7th inning. It's the Blue Jays 5 and the Rays 1. This pitching change is brought to you by Certainteed. Certainteed Pro all the way. Let's go to the other side of downtown Toronto. Nestled in tonight at Baseball Control, Show Ali.
Thank you very much, Ben. And before we get to that St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard, some audio to listen into. Let's start tonight with the post-game availability from Alek Manoah last night. Many, of course, wondering what was going on with Manoah after he missed the start in Game 1 of the doubleheader. Of course, he did start Game 2. Here's the star pitcher on what was ailing him yesterday morning.
Basically tossing turns about 6:30 this morning. Was able to kind of shut my eyes a little bit. Alarm went off at 8 a.m. I still wanted to go in the first game. I was like, I can do it. And they were like, no, don't worry. Can you be ready for the second game? Was completely out of routine. Slept till about 2:30. So I didn't get much sleep last night. Got to the ballpark, another IV, try to get some food in my stomach, see if it'll stay down, and just got to go out there and compete. You can keep it close enough. I know these guys are going to come through, and they did tonight. Some big hits, some big time defensive plays, and yeah, that was basically it.
Quite the morning for Blue Jays pitcher Alek Manoah. He spoke to the media after last night's 7-2 win in Game 2 of the doubleheader. A quick check of the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. Current scores: Orioles at Nationals, Nats leading 2-1. Old pal Riley Adams and Luke Voigt both going deep for Washington. Yankees at Red Sox, New York leading 3-1 after a Little League home run from Gleyber Torres. It did go down as an RBI single with a throwing error from Connor Wong, the catcher, to first base, going into right field. That allowed 2 more runs to score. The Yankees still lead 3-1. That's a quick check of the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. You're listening to Blue Jays baseball, served up by the always game-ready Jack Link's Meat Snacks. Back to the action on the other side of downtown Toronto at the Rogers Center. Here's Ben Wagner and Caleb Joseph.
Thanks, Joe. It's Adam Cimber, who had been loosening earlier to face Manuel Margot. And his first pitch fastball is in there for a called strike one on Margot. 6 1/3 one-run work tonight for Ross Stripling, giving way to Cimber for his 67th appearance. 60 1/3, 51 strikeouts. A swing and a miss by Margot, and it's 0-2. Margot doubled his first time up and then flied out to Jackie Bradley Jr. in the 5th. One down, nobody on. The 0-2, up and out. One ball and 2 strikes. Cimber's 1-2. Fouled away at the plate. 1 ball and 2 strikes. John Schneider exchanging a handshake and then a big bear hug for Ross Stripling, who was great tonight. Fastball, curveball, slider, a lot of changeups from Ross Stripling this evening. One, 2. Soft liner into right field, a base hit. 1 out base runner for the Rays. The Blue Jays have a 5-1 lead over Tampa Bay here in the 7th.
Yeah, Stripling just fantastic. First pitch strikes to 20 of 23 batters. Can't really get much better than that. Like you said, a lot of changeups. 26 out of the 87 pitches were changeups. He induced 8 whiffs on that pitch alone, 12 total. He was unpredictable. He moved it around. He was pitching. The art of pitching was displayed tonight.
The Dean was at work, man. Christian Bethancourt swings and fouls the pitch off to the right. That's strike 1.
And look, call me old school or whatever you want, but watching that is just so entertaining versus 100 pitches, 5 innings, and 12 strikeouts. That to me was fun, watching him toy around with all those different pitches.
0-1, pounded into the ground, bounced out to second, flagged by Espinal, flip it over to first in time. That will get an out.
Well, I tell you what, Ben, that was a mistake right there.
I'm with you.
Taylor made double play. Espinal completely forgot how many outs there were. That had 4-6-3 written all over it. Espinal grabs it, takes a little stutter step, goes to throw to first, realizing, there's only 1 out.
Cimber with his hands on his head. Danny Jansen and Bo Bichette out on the mound. Trying to collect the right-hander. Espinal kind of drifting out all alone by himself.
I tell you, I like that. I like the fact that Bichette comes in, that Danny goes out there. That's professionalism, because Cimber comes into the game. He gets that 2 ball, should be out of the inning, and it's easy for a pitcher to kind of get derailed mentally. Blue Jays can't afford that. With Paredes coming up, they go in to kind of reset the attitude.
Isaac Paredes can swing it too. First pitch is a fastball just a little bit low. That's ball 1. 18 home runs this season for Isaac Paredes. The Blue Jays here deploying Adam Cimber to get through a specific pocket in the order. Cimber makes his pitch. Runner at second now, the 1-0. In for a called strike to even the count at 1-1. Clearly a mental breakdown with Santiago Espinal, and not to pile on, but he was caught stealing a couple of moments ago in a situation that might not have been a straight steal for Espinal.
Yeah, I think it was first and third, 2 strikes on the hitter. Remember, the Blue Jays were in this scenario a couple weeks ago. Yan Gomes at third base. It's a perfect time for a steal and stop at first base. Espinal should go, and the minute he sees that ball thrown into the middle of the field, stop running, allow Tapia at third base to go ahead and score.
The 2-1. Fastball's outside.
But what ended up happening is I think he missed the sign, and instead of stopping, he continued. The ball was thrown into the middle of the field. As soon as it was, Tapia was running, but at that point, the tag had Espinal before Tapia scored.
3-1. Hit high and deep up the left field line, hooking and foul. Lands at the 200 level, 2 sections shy of the pole. Long, loud contact. 3 balls and 2 strikes still on Paredes. Snapped an 0 for 17 with hits in 2 out of the last 3. Extended that with a double back in the 5th. The pitch. Pulled foul into the seats. 7th inning, Blue Jays in front, 5-1. The Rays have dropped 4 out of their last 5. They have a 1-game lead in the season head-to-head series, winning 7 of 13. 3-2. Up and out, ball 4. 2 on with 2 out here in the 7th inning.
You just got to hope, Ben, that these little mistakes don't come back to haunt you. Might have a pinch hitter.
Jonathan Aranda, the rookie who clubbed his first big league home run yesterday, is pulled off the bench to pinch hit for Taylor Walls. Walls mired in an 0 for 11 slide. And Aranda could come in, play a number of different positions, and he could swing it. 18 home runs in the minor leagues earlier this year. Promoted at the beginning of September, making his major league debut this month. Inning should be over. Espinal clearly thought there were 2 outs. He had a routine play over to first instead of a 4-6-3 potential inning ender. This has ripple effects, right? Cimber doesn't get out of the frame. Perhaps this prompts then burning another bullpen arm. More pitches for Cimber, period.
It does. We talk about it all the time. The margin for error is so small. Look at what it's done on the other side to the Tampa Rays. They've played a little sloppy baseball today, down 5-1 because of it.
Pitch to Aranda, swing and a miss. Aranda's had a nice arrival to the major league, 6 for 15. Now he asks for time. Raises his bright yellow batting glove, gets the pause. Soft practice swing. Cimber goes pigeon-toed on top of the hill. The 0-1, lined off to the left. No balls and 2 strikes. This is an okay matchup. Cimber handles left-handed hitters pretty well. Blue Jays in front, 5-1. Rays threatening. Most pressure they put on the Blue Jays tonight with runners on at first and second. 0-2 is a fastball high. Sidewinding right-hander, posting reverse splits again. Right-handed hitters hitting 283. Left-handed hitters are 18 for 88. That's a 205 clip. 1-2. Bounding ball towards third. In between. Tough hop handled by Chapman. On the move over to third to retire the side. And a do-or-die hop. The scoop converted by Matt Chapman. He bails out the defense, retiring the Rays. Runners left at first and second. 1 run on the home run by Harold Ramirez. Middle of the 7th in downtown Toronto. It's time to stretch. Blue Jays 5, Rays 1. This is Blue Jays baseball, served up by Jack Link's Meat Snacks on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Baseball is in full swing. Why not enjoy great?
Just like us at Bears Radio, our friends at Office Revolution really get the game. They furnished a global sports marketing agency in Fulton Market that won Crane's coolest offices. They know work is not just about conference rooms. This space has leather couches, bar stools by the tap, and even stadium seating for brainstorming great plays. Office Revolution knows your office represents your culture, brand, and should be a space where the team wants to work. Visit office-revolution.com to see what they can do.
This September, Chicago Gourmet is going Uberboard. Join host Chef Sarah Gruenberg for Prost in the Park, a new Oktoberfest-style event with chef takes on classic German delights, Upa bands, fun cocktails, and delicious craft beer. From familiar favorites to a big collection of local craft breweries, get ready to toast at this Sunday Fun Day on the Harris Theater rooftop at Millennium Park. Prost in the Park, Sunday, September 25th. Tickets at chicagogourmet.org. Presented by Performance Food Service.
How's your mental health? I'm listening with Michael Phelps.
You know, I think for me in 2014, when I found myself in that dark place where I didn't want to be alive in those 4 days when I was in my room by myself, after sitting there and thinking about everything, I wanted to find a different way. I wanted to find a different answer. I was sick and tired of feeling how I felt. And that's why I started to seek help. And that's when I checked myself into a treatment center.
More at imlistening.org. Talk saves lives.
Jr. will lead off the home seventh for the Blue Jays. He swings and misses at the first pitch. It's strike one. Toronto 5, Tampa Bay 1. Jonathan Aranda has stayed in the lineup. He's at second base. Isaac Paredes shifting over to play it short. The 0-1. Off to the right side. Charging in. Aranda's got it out of the turf. Easy underhand toss over to first base. One out to start the home seventh. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. made it 1-0 with a solo home run. The Blue Jays got a fielder's choice ribby from Vladdy in the third. RBI single in the same at bat from Bo Bichette. Santiago Espinal took care of Danny Jansen's double in the fourth inning, and then an RBI base hit from Raimel Tapia on another Jansen double. 5-0, now 5-1. George Springer takes from Fleming outside ball one. Lefty in relief, the 1-0. Outside, 2 balls and no strikes. Yesterday, home run number 20 for George Springer. It's the 7th time in his career he has had 20 or more. Pitch is low. 3 balls and no strikes. Three-0. Wide strike called on Springer. Now 3-1. Three-one pitch, line the other way, a base hit into right field. 1 out single for the Blue Jays here in the 7th.
Oh, that's a nice swing, an absolute rocket to right center field. And I tell you what, the generous strike call on the 3-0 pitch from home plate umpire Lance Barrett might have just bought him a base hit. Would you take a walk or a hit? I know they both count as on base, but you take a hit, right?
Take a hit.
Yeah, all day.
All day.
But it's one of those plays, right, Ben, that if you end up getting out, then you're staring at the home plate umpires. You walk back, I should have walked. He'll take a hit right there.
Springer drifts away from first. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. at the plate. Swings and he bounces one, hugging the first base line, foul. Picked up 3/4 of the way up the chalk for strike one. We're in the Crown Rust Protection broadcast booth tonight. Protect your vehicle with Crown, Canada's #1 rust protection. Book your appointment today. Crown, protect, maintain, save.
Tell you what, Ben, I'm really curious to see what exactly is going on with Springer and what it's going to take at the end of the season. If it's going to take some sort of surgery, he really is grinding it out.
The 0-1. Bounding ball in the middle of the diamond. In to grab it, Paredes. Aranda at second. A throw to first in time. A double play to retire the side. 6-4-3 inning ender. We're off to the 8th. It's the Blue Jays 5 and the Rays 1. This is Blue Jays baseball, served up by Jack Link's Meat Snacks on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Odyssey knows that football fans can't get enough football. That's why we've got nonstop football coverage on the free Odyssey app. Podcasts and live shows dedicated to every pro team. NFL play-by-play and enough game talk for the most diehard fans. Local radio stations talking football, interviews with star players and coaches, and football fans being fans.
What kind of play calling was that?
Listen to everything you love about football, live and on demand with the free Odyssey app. Get in the game and download today.
How's your mental health? I'm listening with Alanis Morissette.
When it first started, I would have my nightly panic attacks, but then I started getting really curious about all the sensations. Like I just really started looking at, okay, so chest is, I got really kind of granular in observing the details of what was really going on with the breath. It's just survival strategy. It's cortisol cooking nonstop. Chronic stress is trauma.
More at imlistening.org. Talk saves lives.
Just like us at Bears Radio, our friends at Office Revolution really get the game. They furnished a global sports marketing agency in Fulton Market that won Crane's coolest offices. They know work is not just about conference rooms. This space has leather couches, bar stools by the tap, and even stadium seating for brainstorming great plays. Office Revolution knows your office represents your culture, brand, and should be a space where the team wants to work. Visit office-revolution.com to see what they can do.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
A grand slam by Guerrero, and he ties the game.
On Sportsnet 590, The Fan.
Great to have you alongside as we move into the eighth inning here at Rogers Center, where the Blue Jays have a 5-1 lead over the Tampa Bay Rays. Blue Jays will dip back into the bullpen, bring in Jimmy Garcia. Also, the Blue Jays have replaced George Springer in the lineup. Not to be too concerned because the Blue Jays in the 7th, 8th, and 9th, they're comfortable with taking out George Springer after his time recently passes in the batting order to improve the defense because, again, Springer still nursing that sore right elbow. Upgrade the defense in case there's a significant throw to be made. So Bradley Zimmer's in center.
Easy to do when you trust Jimmy Garcia, when you trust Jordan Romano to get the last 6 outs. Hopefully not dependent on the offensive Springer late in the game. 4-run lead here. Anytime you can get Springer off the field, because of that injury, it's a good thing.
Yandy Diaz will lead it off. The pitch. Fastball, strike one. Blue Jays 5, Rays 1. Big gap in left center on Yandy Diaz, the right-handed batter. The pitch. A fastball on the outside corner. 0-2 on Diaz. Jimmy Garcia, the last handful of outings, trying to land breaking balls on first pitches. He's going right after hitters here with the 4-seamers. 0-2. Fastball's high and in. 1 ball and 2 strikes.
I don't know if we talk enough about this guy, to be perfectly honest with you. Early in the season, he was kind of a coin flip for me. He was one good, one not so good. He was hard to trust early in the season. Boy, has he flipped the script on that.
1-2, lined up the middle, a base hit into center. Turned around the 4-seam fastball. Diaz has his first hit tonight, and the leadoff batter's aboard for the Rays in the 8th.
That's my fault. That's my fault.
Jimmy joins us courtesy of Certainteed. Certainteed, pro all the way. Certainteed. Providing our pitching changes. Wander Franco, the batter. DHing tonight, 0 for 3. Pitch to Franco. Popped up. This will clear the Blue Jays dugout. Strike one on Wander Franco. Peek at the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard. Find out what's happening. We were watching the march to 700 for Albert Pujols. Nolan Arenado is the one to hit his 29th of the year, a 2-run home run. What's happening at Fenway Park into the 6th inning? The New York No long balls tonight for New York after Aaron Judge hit a pair of them last night for his 56th and 57th, leading Major League Baseball comfortably. 0-2. Fastball's high. 1 ball and 2 strikes. A 20 homer lead on the next closest competitor. Aaron Judge with 57. Kyle Schwarber of the Philadelphia Phillies, the next closest. He's got 37. Earlier today, the Mariners knocked off the Padres 6-1. 1-2. Fastball missed the up and out corner. Jimmy Garcia goes back to the rosin, gives it a quick squeeze. Jimmy's an interesting case study, isn't he? Sometimes he rolls in 93 miles an hour consistently through his outing, and then all of a sudden 97 flashes on the strike box. Game set, now steps off. Now wants to reset. Right-hander straightens high. And the 2-2 fouled back towards us. Count holds 2 balls and 2 strikes.
Wanted to try to find some numerical values to support what my eyes were telling me. April, 4.3 ERA. May, a little bit better, 2.3. Then June, another 4.5 ERA. But then after that, it's been 0 in July. Not an earned run in July. Just over 2 in August. And just under 2 in September.
Right-hander set. And the 2-2 lined into right field, base hit. Wander Franco pulls a single. He's aboard for the first time tonight. A couple of singles, and the first 2 are on to start the 8th inning against Jimmy Garcia.
Okay, I'm definitely keeping my mouth shut from now on.
Yeah, stop talking about the guy.
You got the rest of the inning, Ben. We'll see you fans in the bottom of the 8th, okay?
Danny Jansen out with a quick visit. Runners on at first and second. The Blue Jays in front by 4 runs. They're after their last 6 defensive outs. To summarize what your ERA conversation had been around too, from April to May, June, July, August, all the way rolling through. Jimmy Garcia has not allowed an earned run in 44 out of his last 52 outings. Randy Arozarena at the plate. Takes a slider off the outside corner, called strike 1. Blue Jays have the bullpen in motion. Anthony Bass and Tim Meza up and loosening. Meza the lefty. 0-1. Fastball check swing. Did he go? No, did not. Alfonso Marquez, the first base umpire, said he took it low. Blue Jays would love to see something on the ground. 1-1, fouled back. 1 ball and 2 strikes. That was a big rip. Arozarena trying to come up with a 3-run home run, which is funny. We were in the dugout earlier talking with Kevin Cash, the Rays manager. Randy Arozarena was dashing around the bases a lot yesterday, kind of with reckless abandon, and that's his MO. Got his 30th stolen base. That's a big landmark for him. And Kevin was joking with us. He said, all right, we've seen enough stolen bases. How about a little bit more pop? And Randy kind of alluded to that, like, I'm going to hit more home runs now. And his manager, Kevin Cash, said, okay, yeah, we're good with that. And then we kind of pressed him a little bit, saying, do you appreciate that carefree nature? And the Rays manager just kind of stonewalled the reporter that asked the question and said, if it works.
Exactly.
If it works, we're okay with it. First and second. Swing and a miss. Arozarena is down on strikes.
Yeah, and I think the reason he likes it when it works is because the Rays have made 68 outs on the bases. And according to Baseball Reference, that's the most in the majors. So while they pressure, while they do a lot of stuff on the bases, wreak havoc, they also make a ton of outs on the bases. So, yeah, I can feel the sentiment. Yeah, it's great when you're safe, but we're giving away outs on the bases probably unnecessarily.
This guy took it out of the ballpark. Harold Ramirez. The 6th home run, led off the 7th. Now he bats with 1 down in the 8th. Runners aboard at first and second. The Blue Jays have a 5-1 lead here in the 8th inning. The pitch, fouled back. Strike one on Ramirez.
They would have had Franco at first. Right after that foul ball, Jansen was pivoting to back pick Franco. Biggio coming underneath. They had him there. Had Ramirez not fouled that off, I'm certain they would have picked him off right there.
Oh, 1. Missed outside. 1 ball and 1 strike now on Harold Ramirez. That's a play that the Blue Jays usually put on with the first baseman. Vladimir Guerrero Jr. has done it and executed it brilliantly a number of times. 1-1. Low and away. 2 balls and 1 strike. This time it would have been up to Cabin to set that play up.
Yeah, and it's a great time in the game of baseball. 8th inning, 1 run. You're kind of in a little bit of a bind here. Home run hitter at the plate, trying to find any way to scratch out another out to pull a little bit of pressure off of Yimi Garcia. I love the fact that they're proactively looking for those type of plays. A lot of teams are afraid to put those plays on, and it takes communication with both the catcher and the first baseman. You got to be on the same page. You kind of get one crack at it, and then it's kind of done. They've executed it very nicely this season.
2-1. Swing and a miss. What a rip by Harold Ramirez. Couldn't get to the sinker. Count evens up at 2 balls and 2 strikes.
And this is a really interesting AB. Garcia has the ability to throw that sinking fastball in on Ramirez. Ramirez in the top 5 in average on pitches away. See if he can bury another one here.
The 2-2. Swing and a miss. Got him to chase the high fastball. Back-to-back strikeouts for Garcia.
But I tell you, we talked about Rasmussen and that triangle in pitching, the up pitch, the down and away pitch, the down and in pitch. That was just a beautiful example. He had Ramirez on the slider down and away, the lower left part of the triangle. He ran that 2-seam in at 95, the right side of the triangle, and then he finished him with a 96 straight up. Moved his eyes all around. Huge strikeout for Garcia right there.
G-Man Choi, the batter. 0 for 3 tonight. The first pitch dropped on the outside corner. Good curveball from Garcia. Earlier in the inning, first pitch fastballs. This time, maybe Choi leaning on a heater. Snapped off the curve. Got ahead. Strike 1. Blue Jays in front 5-1. We're in the 8th. The 0-1. Outside, 1 ball and 1 strike. One. Swing and a miss. 1-2. Here comes Rogers, center again. First and second for the Rays. A 4-run lead for Toronto. The 1-2. Fastball's high. Diaz and Franco have their lead. Shift to the right. The 2-2. Swing and a miss. Got him with a fastball. Jimmy Garcia strikes out the side in the 8th. The Rays will leave a pair. 7.5 gone by in downtown Toronto. Blue Jays 5, Rays 1. This is Blue Jays baseball served up by Jack Link's Meat Snacks on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Ready for the next level? Blue Jays, get ready for Chicago Gourmet. This September 22nd through 25th, Chicago Gourmet is creating a stir with a weekend of spirited events, serving up delicious food, premium wines, spirits, and beer. Join world-class chefs Rick Bayless, Stephanie Izard, Danielle Boulou, Sarah Gruenberg, and more for gourmet fun on the Harris Theater rooftop at Millennium Park. Tickets will sell out. Get yours today at chicagogourmet.org. From the Illinois Restaurant Association, Southern Glazers Wine and Spirits, and Choose Chicago.
Just like us at Bears Radio, our friends at Office Revolution really get the game. They furnished a global sports marketing agency in Fulton Market that won Crane's coolest offices. They know work is not just about conference rooms. This space has leather couches, bar stools by the tap, and even stadium seating for brainstorming great plays. Office Revolution knows your office represents your culture, brand, and should be a space where the team wants to work. Visit office-revolution.com to see what they can do. Business IT Source, an award-winning provider of IT for business, is now part of Computer Center, one of the largest international IT solutions providers in the world. This offers large corporations the best of all worlds. Expanded capability with personalized service, including our no-cost stocking and integration, so products arrive on time and ready to deploy. Make Business IT Source and Dell Technologies part of your winning team. Business IT Source, the IT source for your business.
Fantasy football leagues are won on the waiver wire, and with trades, and with savvy starter sit decisions. The Fantasy Football Today podcast will help you along the way with the best advice on how to manage your team and dominate your league. With 8 episodes per week, Fantasy Football Today is the only resource you'll need. Start sit, grade the trade, fantasy cops to settle your league disputes, and so much more. Check out Fantasy Football Today, anywhere podcasts are found.
How's your mental health? I'm listening with Michael Phelps.
You know, I think for me in 2014, when I found myself in that dark place where I didn't want to be alive in those 4 days when I was in my room by myself, after sitting there and thinking about everything, I wanted to find a different way. I wanted to find a different answer. I was sick and tired of feeling how I felt. And that's why I started to seek help. And that's when I checked myself into a treatment center.
More at imlistening.org. Talk saves lives.
You know those headlines that make you stop scrolling and actually read an article? I'm Mike Rogers. Those are the kinds of stories I'm diving into on my podcast, Something Offbeat, like the caterpillar infestation in Maine that had us rethinking our relationship with insects.
We were talking about a time 300 million years ago, if you can imagine. There was a dragonfly. It had a 2-foot wingspan.
Just search for Something Offbeat in the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
How's your mental health? I'm listening with Alanis Morissette.
When it first started, I would have my nightly panic attacks, but then I started getting really curious about all the sensations. Like, I just really started looking at, okay, so chest is, I got really kind of granular in observing the details of what was really going on with the breath. It's just survival strategy. It's cortisol cooking nonstop. Chronic stress is trauma.
More at imlistening.org. Talk saves lives.
Looking for stories about the Black community and you don't want to wait until, February? Then check out Beyond Black History Month, the podcast that tells inclusive stories year-round. Like how today's labor movement is connected to the civil rights movement, and why Black neighborhoods keep getting hit with water crisis after water crisis.
We're still being charged for water that we can't use.
Listen and subscribe to Beyond Black History Month on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts from.
Odyssey knows that football fans can't get enough football. That's why we've got nonstop football coverage on the free Odyssey app. Podcasts and live shows dedicated to every pro team. NFL play-by-play and enough game talk for the most diehard fans. Local radio stations talking football, interviews with star players and coaches, and football fans being fans.
What kind of play calling was that?
Listen to everything you love about football, live and on demand with the free Odyssey app. Get in the game and download today.
Hey guys, Mike Valeni for Cash the Ticket podcast. If you like sports betting or if you just like sports, it's the podcast for you. We try to cover all the big games and maybe some of the games you didn't even know were important, give you some angles, pick some winners, have a good time, and hopefully help you meander through college and pro football season. So join us a couple times a week to get all your information you need to bet the games that you watch. It's Cash the Ticket on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
Unrealistic.
The 0-1. Inside on Cavan. 1 ball and 1 strike.
Because you can throw them super fast and you can create these wiffle ball type actions. So a couple weeks ago, Bo went back and started having that incredible practice.
The 1-1. Swing and a miss. 1 ball and 2 strikes. So the Incredible is a pregame drill that Bo kind of dusted off.
Yes. And you have somebody that has any idea how to throw a breaking pitch, a changeup, a fastball.
1-2. Curveball just missed inside. 2 balls and 2 strikes. Are you using the pitching machine or is the coach actually throwing it?
It's a coach, and you're having AB, so it's 0-0, and the coach makes a pitch, but he can make them bigger and faster. So it's a training tool to kind of overtrain, get you really ready for game speed.
2-2. Swing and a miss by Biggio. He's down on strikes.
And in 2020, there were guys lined up having these ABs right before the game. And I'm talking about pitches that are 50, 55 feet away, but absolutely chucked at them with massive break, with a lot of zip, and it's hard to hit. It's really, really hard to hit. And what it does, it will expose some of the flaws in your ABs each and every time that you get up there.
Danny Jansen is getting an intentional pass. Now put runners on at first and second, and Raimel Tapia is going lefty on lefty with Josh Fleming. Blue Jays have double barrel action. Anthony Bass is loosening along with Trevor Richards. So you want the hand-eye coordination to sharpen up, essentially. This is the drill, right? The tracking.
Yep, and it's overtraining. It's really hard to hit it. It's almost unrealistic, but it gets your mind, it gets your eyes focused in.
Swing and a miss by Tapia, strike 1.
The distance that they throw it from is super short. You have to really shorten up. You've got to really be in tune with your swing, your timing. It worked in 2020. I think for some reason went away from that maybe last year, good portion of this year. That drill has seemed to really lock him in.
The 0-1. Pulled down to first. 2 hopper handled by Choi. Finds Fleming over next to the back. Tapia streaking up the line with a headfirst dive to the cushion. Beaten by Fleming to retire the side. No runs. A double by Bo Bichette, his 40th of the year. A 2-hit night for Bo Bichette. And the Blue Jays have a 5-1 lead going to the 9th. Anthony Bass is jogging in. This is Blue Jays baseball. Served up by Jack Link's Meat Snacks on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Hi, I'm Eric. Did you know that sudden cardiac...
Just like us at Bears Radio, our friends at Office Revolution really get the game. They furnished a global sports marketing agency in Fulton Market that won Crane's coolest offices. They know work is not just about conference rooms. This space has leather couches, bar stools by the tap, and even stadium seating for brainstorming great plays. Office Revolution knows your office represents your culture, brand, and should be a space where the team wants to work. Visit office-revolution.com to see what they can do.
Get ready for Chicago Gourmet. This September 22nd through 25th, Chicago Gourmet is creating a stir with a weekend of spirited events, serving up delicious food, premium wines, spirits, and beer. Join world-class chefs Rick Bayless, Stephanie Izard, Danielle Boulou, Sarah Gruenberg, and more for gourmet fun on the Harris Theater rooftop at Millennium Park. Tickets will sell out. Get yours today at chicagogourmet.org. From the Illinois Restaurant Association, Southern Glazers Wine and Spirits, and Choose Chicago.
The listening you love is on the free Odyssey app. Your trusted local radio stations, coverage of your favorite teams, live news from your hometown, and millions of podcasts on demand. Best of all, you can completely customize your listening experience. Follow topics you care about, like leagues and teams. Pause or rewind your local sports and news, and add shows to your queue to catch up later. There's a lot to listen to, so get started and download the free Odyssey app today.
This is Toronto Blue Jays baseball.
Gurriel's up with the throw. It's on the money, and they got him. What a throw by Lourdes Gurriel Jr.
On Sportsnet 590 The Fan.
Ninth inning from our Crown Rust Protection broadcast booth. Protect your vehicle with Crown, Canada's #1 rust protection. Book your appointment today. Crown, protect, maintain, save. Blue Jays 5, Rays 1, ninth inning for Anthony Bass. This pitching change is brought to you by Certainteed. Certainteed Pro all the way. Rays will bring up Manuel Margot, Christian Bethancourt, Isaac Paredes. Bass acquired from the Miami Marlins. Now a Toronto Blue Jay. He has been great out of the Blue Jays bullpen. Righty on righty, Margot swings and misses at the first pitch. A slider snapped off by Bass for strike one. All right, Jimmy Garcia certainly in the conversation to go multiple innings. Jordan Romano available after only throwing 3 pitches last night. Trevor Richards had been loosening. Anthony Bass, just a better matchup in this pocket of where the Rays lineup is, as Margot swings and misses through another slider, and it's 0-2. Easy going with Anthony Bass on the bump. '21st appearance with the Blue Jays. Bass ready. And the 0-2 bounce to the plate. 144 earned run average for Bass, 7th among qualified MLB relievers. Third of an inning yesterday in the nightcap. Right-handers 1-2. Topped out in front of the plate, and that'll bound foul third base side. 1-2.
I think he's only given up 3 earned runs as a Blue Jay reliever, all 3 solo homers to lefties. But I think what's so cool is a second stint with the Toronto Blue Jays. And I just remember him in 2020 throwing a lot more splits with that fastball. And now it's second run with the team. Now it's a lot sliders.
1-2, swing and a miss. There's another slider. Margot down on strikes, 1 out in the 9th. I asked Anthony Bass about the splitter, and I said, what's the difference? Do you still possess it, or have you scrapped it? He said, no, I found it again with Miami, so I've been leaning on it a lot more. I'll break out the splitter every now and again. But there's another pitch that's emerged this summer, and that's the 2-seamer. He said, I always keep that tucked in my back pocket, maybe even in front of the splitter nowadays. Christian Bethancourt steps in. Pitch is low, ball 1. Rays in danger of dropping 5 out of 6. The Blue Jays surging, looking for win number 81. Winning 11 of 14 this month. The 1-0. Bounce towards the hole, reaching out. Bichette's got it. Fadeaway throw towards first is offline. A base hit for Bethancourt. Good range by Bill Bichette even to flag that ball. That ball slips by the infielders. Might be a double for the Rays.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was about to say. Is I'm even shocked, really, that he was able to get to it, ranging far to his right. Had to throw totally across his body. The arm strength was there just to tick up the line. Guarantee a hit probability on that was very high, probably 80% if I had to guess.
Isaac Paredes, the batter, goes righty on righty. Slider is low for ball 1. We're in the 9th inning. The Blue Jays have a 5-1 lead over the Tampa Bay Rays. They're in the 8th on the St. Louis Bar and Grill out-of-town scoreboard at Fenway Park. The Yankees are in front 4-1 over the Red Sox. 1-0. Spins in for a called strike. 1 ball and 1 strike on Paredes. Orioles have certainly bounced back after trailing earlier in the Beltway battle. Nationals had a 2-1 lead until a 4-run 7th inning for Baltimore. Now it's 6-2. Orioles over the Nats. Fly ball into right center field. Bradley Zimmer racing over. He makes the catch on the move. Redis making a bid towards the gap in right center field. And that's the speed of Bradley Zimmer, covering a lot of territory. 2 down.
Yeah, he was shaded over in left center field right off the bat from our vantage point, Ben. I thought it was a double ticketed for the gap. And out of nowhere, the long and lanky Zimmer is able to track it down. So good to have 2 center fielders out there, natural center fielders. Wait, maybe even 3, and Tapia manning the outfield. It's like a StatCast dream outfield right now.
2 down, runner at first. Jonathan Aranda at the plate. And the first pitch is dropped on the outside corner. A backdoor slider for strike 1. Blue Jays can secure the 5-game, 4-day series with a win tonight. They will hold possession in the wild card by a half game with the Mariners win already. The 0-1. A fastball at the knees at 96 miles an hour. And the Rays are down to their final strike. Big crowd on their feet in downtown Toronto. 0-2 in the air, out to center. Zimmer backs up. He's there to finish the ball game. What a night for the Toronto Blue Jays. It starts on the hill. Ross Stripling with another sterling performance through 6 1/3. A landmark home run for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. He mashes his 100th career homer. Danny Jansen's got a couple of doubles. Bo Bichette has a big night again with an RBI single and his 40th double of the season. It all propels the Blue Jays to a 5-1 win.
Sure does. 3 out of the first 4 secures a series victory for the Blue Jays. But, Ben, now is the time. This part of the season, now is the time is when you want to get a little bit greedy and try and get 4 out of 5. And I'll tell you what, the Rays on the other side, they look broke. They look broken right now. They look like they're just crumbling in terms of meeting a train that's on the tracks and just getting pummeled by a team in the Toronto Blue Jays that, remember, came into this series coming off of a heater, 8-2 on the road. They have just continued to take that momentum into this series.
The numbers are great for the Blue Jays. They have won 20 out of the last 28, 13 out of the last 17. The furthest above 500 at any point this season, 19 games over 500 at 81-62. That train on the tracks is certainly blue and white, and it is streaking through September right now. The Blue Jays, a 5-1 win over the Tampa Bay Rays. Coming up, we'll take you through the totals. We'll have our play of the game, and then we'll get you to Blair and Barker. They are ready with Blue Jays talk coming up in just a moment. It's a winning edition of Blue Jays baseball here at Rogers Center tonight. Your final score, the Toronto Blue Jays 5 and the Tampa Bay Rays 1. This is Blue Jays baseball served up by Jack Link's Meat Snacks on the Sportsnet Radio Network.
Baseball is in full swing. Why not enjoy great?
Just like us at Bears Radio, our friends at Office Revolution really get the game. They furnished a global sports marketing agency in Fulton Market that won Crane's coolest offices. They know work is not just about conference rooms. This space has leather couches, bar stools by the tap, and even stadium seating for brainstorming great plays. Office Revolution knows your office represents your culture, brand, and should be a space where the team wants to work. Visit office-revolution.com to see what they can do.
This September, Chicago Gourmet is going Uberboard. Join host Chef Sarah Gruenberg for Prost in the Park, a new Oktoberfest-style event with chef takes on classic German delights, Uba bands, fun cocktails, and delicious craft beer. From familiar favorites to a big collection of local craft breweries, get ready to toast at this Sunday Fun Day on the Harris Theater rooftop at Millennium Park. Prost in the Park, Sunday, September 25th. Tickets at chicagogourmet.org. Presented by Performance Food Service.
You know those headlines that make you stop scrolling and actually read an article? I'm Mike Rogers. Those are the kinds of stories I'm diving into on my podcast, Something Offbeat, like the caterpillar infestation in Maine that had us rethinking our relationship with insects.
We were talking about a time 300 million years ago, if you can imagine. There was a dragonfly. It had a 2-foot wingspan.
Just search for Something Offbeat in the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
I'm Matt Spiegel, and I'm the host of the brand new podcast, Beat the Streak Daily. Every weekday this Major League season, I will update the state of Beat the Streak. The rules are simple. Each day, pick 1 or 2 players you think will get a hit. And if they do, your streak continues. Sounds doable, right? But so far, it's been impossible to win. And with millions of dollars on the line, no one has ever gotten to 56. Subscribe now to Beat the Streak Daily, wherever you get your podcasts, and play Beat the Streak for your chance to win $5.6 million.
It is September. It was supposed to be meaningful, and it certainly is for the Toronto Blue Jays. Every win of greater and greater importance as the march of the postseason continues. Here at Rogers Center tonight, another big step against a division rival. A secured series, winning the third of what will be a 5-game set going into tomorrow's finale. A matinee for the Blue Jays. Kevin Gausman against Shane McClanahan. On paper, it is a marquee matchup for the Blue Jays and the Rays. Let's talk about tonight before we dive into tomorrow. Let's take you through the totals of this one as the Blue Jays pick up their 81st victory on the year, 81-62, 19 games above 500, the furthest over 500 that the Blue Jays have been this season. With the setback, the Rays are now 79-63 on the year. The Rays have dropped 5 out of the last 6. Blue Jays, 5 runs, 11 hits, and no errors. At the plate tonight, the Blue Jays go 3 for 10 with runners in scoring position, 5 men left on base. The Rays, 1 run, 7 hits, 1 error. At the plate, 0 for 6 with runners in scoring position, 8 men left on base. The lone run, the 6th of the season for Harold Ramirez. The Blue Jays got a 28th of the year for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. All in support of Ross Stripling, 6 1/3 of 1-run ball, allowed 3 hits, 4 strikeouts, and 1 walk. Stripling is now 8-4 on the year. Adam Simber, Jimmy Garcia, and Anthony Bass all throwing out of the bullpen. Drew Rasmussen had a rare clunker, 4 innings, 4 runs, all earned on 6 hits, a walk and a strikeout for the right-hander who falls to 10-5. Josh Fleming saving the bullpen, soaking up the final 4 of this one. Blue Jays pick up a 5-1 win over the Tampa Bay Rays, a contest that lasted 2 hours and 35 minutes, 24,282 at Rogers Center tonight, watching this one roll in favor of the Blue Jays 5-1. Let's get to our play of the game. It's presented by Bet365. With Bet365, you can watch thousands of live games, build your own bet, and even make a bet while the game is still being played. 19 plus, play responsibly. Ontario only. So many things that we could look at. A couple of really sparkling defensive plays, an outing for Ross Stripling. Bo Bichette goes 2 for 4 at the plate, drives home his club best 88th RBI, has 40 doubles on the season. Danny Jansen has a couple of doubles tonight, a 2-hit performance for Santiago Espinal. But hey, it's a night for Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who had been really grinding the knob of his bat into sawdust over the last couple of weeks, sitting on 99 career home runs. And in the first inning, he teed off against one of the Rays' best starters, the 0-1. Swinging a high fly ball, deep left field. You can forget it! Oh, my! Number 100 for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. A majestic home run for Vladdy. What a milestone for Vladimir Guerrero Jr. His late season drought is over, and the Blue Jays have a 1-0 lead.
And why the pause there from Ben Wagner? Because it was 38 feet on the launch degrees, and that, folks, is a super high one. Only 98 off the bat, but good for Vladdy to get that 100th homer under his belt. You could tell, as Ben said, he was kind of weighing on him a little bit, and it just makes you wonder if now that he's gotten past that century mark, that he can really kind of settle in and start trying to get on the same page torrid-wise as Bo Bichette. But look, Stripling was amazing. He pitched tonight, and it was just so fun to watch him use both north, south, east, west parts of the zone. His usage was so spread out. He was unpredictable, and it's just what he does. And it just proves that a guy without a blistering 98-mile-an-hour fastball or just a complete wipeout slider can get outs in the big leagues. I thought Danny Jansen called a tremendous game, and that's so much of it is sequencing. And a big part of Strip's success is how he moves those pitches around, what pitches come after, what pitches come next. And I thought Danny Jansen did a great job. He also contributed with the bat, 2 doubles, an intentional walk, scored a run. He has really started to kind of produce and to get contributions from the bottom part of the order really clutch. Again, Santiago Espinal, another run scored. Tapia with a big RBI single. Bradley Jr. really contributed. When the bottom of the order starts to contribute, it really starts to even out that lineup even more. They become even deeper. And remember, no Teoscar Hernandez tonight, no Lourdes Gurriel. This is a deep team, and when they start playing solid baseball, they are dangerous. They took advantage of the Rays' mistakes, kind of beat them at their own game, but awesome start. Well, not start, awesome way to continue this 5-game series. They've already won it, but now's the time to get greedy and go 4 out of 5.
Yeah, it took 3 out of 4 going into the finale, which should be a good one. The lefty, the power left-hander, Shane McClanahan will get activated off the injured list by Tampa Bay tomorrow. Kevin Gausman gets the finale for the Blue Jays against the Tampa Bay Rays. We will join you across the network at 3 o'clock Eastern here in downtown Toronto. That's Caleb Joseph. I'm Ben Wagner. Thanks for joining us. This corner is time to close up shop because Jet Blair and Kevin Barker are standing by. Blue Jays pick up a 5-1 win over the Tampa Bay Rays here tonight. This copyrighted broadcast is presented by the authority of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form, and the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the expressed written consent of Rogers Blue Jays Baseball Partnership or the Sportsnet Radio Network. For Show Ali back at baseball control, Brett Armstrong, Tom Young at the controls. Again, for Caleb Joseph, I'm Ben Wagner. Blue Jays pick up a 5-1 win. The finale tomorrow against the Tampa Bay Rays, but more interaction now with you. Your phone calls, your text, and your tweets. Jeff Blair, Kevin Barker with you, and Blue Jays talk that begins right now.
All right, so Kevin Barker, it is September 14th. The Blue Jays are 19 games over 500. It's the most they've been over 500 this year. I'll ask you a question because you were the one that talked earlier about the Yankees maybe peaking a little too early. Are we seeing the Jays peak at just the right time?
Yeah, well, that's a great question. You know, I think their strength is their pitching. I really do believe that. I think coming into the season, we all thought that the offense was going to carry this team where it needed to go. I got to be honest with you. Now that you're watching the rotation do the things that the rotation's doing, the bullpen, the way they've solidified roles, and John Snyder will use any guy in any spot in any inning, and they just take the ball and go out there and dominate. So, yeah, I think with that being said, the pitching staff as good as it's been. You get some timely hitting. You get a guy who's in fuego like Bo Bichette, and you get everybody else just sort of falling in place and having competitive bats like they did tonight. You know, if you're a Jays fan, you're sort of liking what you're seeing, especially against a good team. You know, the Rays pushed the Jays around a lot. I don't think you're seeing that. And for me, you're not seeing that because of the pitching. The pitching for the Jays has been borderline great. So continue to do that and get some timely hits and play some decent defense. And don't forget the number of outs late in games, and you'll be okay.
Yeah, I figured you'd point that out. Trust you to do that. 5-1, the Blue Jays beating the Tampa Bay Rays. They've taken 3 of 4. A win tomorrow. And Kevin, what does that make? If they beat Shane McClanahan tomorrow, that's going to be what? Be 4 out of 5. Well, somebody in this room said that was going to happen, didn't they? I don't know who it would be.
Well, we'll see. Hopefully that happens. This is the first time I hope you're right.
Oh, well, with every Ross Stripling start, Kevin.
Cha-ching, cha-ching.
Yeah, cha-ching is right. Cha-ching is right. But with every Ross Stripling start, it seems that I go to social media or talk to anybody, and the question is, there's two questions. One, are the Jays going to re-sign him? That's something we can talk about later and something to deal down the road. But, people are looking ahead a little bit and saying, all right, if you do go to the postseason, you know what the question is, Kevin? If you do go to the postseason, number one and number two are pretty clear-cut who those are going to be. Ross Stripling, he's not going away.
Yeah, I mean, it's great to have options. It's great that Jose Barrios has turned the corner, is mechanically sound now, can make in-game adjustments and can command a couple of different pitches to both sides of the plate. Ross Stripling, for me, the game changer is the changeup, the arm speed on it, the movement on it. When he throws it, he's very unpredictable with it. The velocity on it is really good. It's about 8 or 9 miles an hour difference in his fastball. That's a big deal. You have that good arm speed. All of his pitches look the same. That mechanic change where, it's so simple, it's repeatable. He's like Iron Mike. He gets it above his head. He's got all these different pitches, the kitchen sink, and it all's coming out of the same slot. It all looks the same. He's got different miles per hour on every single one of his pitches. He'll throw any of those in any count. He's throwing like tonight. He faced 23 batters. Jeff, he threw 20 strike once. I mean, it's just that's the main thing there. That puts a hitter on the defense. He's no longer aggressive because of that, and because he's so unpredictable with that first pitch, it's very hard to go up and set on something. 2022 is all about guessing. How do you guess with him? How do you guess location? How do you guess pitch? You don't, because he can locate all those. He has confidence in all those. And, oh, by the way, he threw about 15 pitches per inning, which is a big deal for a guy. He only gave up 3 hits. All 3 of those were extra base hits. He only had 1 3-ball count. And, oh, by the way, this is his 6th quality start in a row. To answer your question, I would say if you want to split it up because you want one of your bigger, best 2 guys pitching, for me anyway, in game 1 and game 3, I would guess. I mean, how can you go wrong by starting Ross Stripling in one of those games? I don't think you can.
416-870-0590, star 591, 888-666-0590, 590 is the text line. 5-1, the Jays beating the Tampa Bay Rays at the Rogers Center tonight. 24,282 on hand. Ross Stripling was brilliant. Vladdy Jr. hit his first home run in 68 plate appearances, I believe. It's his 100th career home run, and it was the most un-Vladdy-like home run you're going to see. Normally, Vladdy's home runs are laser beams. This was a parabola. I don't even know how you describe it. But, I think you described it the way our friend Ben Wagner described it, very carefully, because it hung up there a long time before it came down. So we saw Vladdy finally get that home run. Kevin, is that going to – 100 home runs is a nice mark, but is that do you think that's going to be enough to kind of kickstart Vladdy?
Well, I'd love to say yes, but then you see him ground out to the third baseman, ground out to the shortstop on a couple of pitches that he normally grounds out to the third baseman, grounds out to the shortstop. For me, I guess this time of the year, the Rays have a game plan. It's down. Whether it's down with a changeup, whether it's down with a fastball, whether it's down with a 2-seamer, they may backdoor a cutter occasionally, but they're trying to get him out down. And if he can figure out a way to lay off it and force him up, because he is such a good hitter on the elevated, whatever that elevated is, doesn't even have to be a heater. As long as it's up a little bit, if he can have a little bit better plate awareness and understand what he's trying to do and what he can do, I think that why you saw the home run with it looked like it had a little uppercut to it, because it was about a little above the knee. It wasn't too down that he had to uppercut, but it's almost like he knew how they were going to try and get him out, and he had an actual game plan going up and trying to get that ball in the air. And because he has elite bat-to-ball skills, he can do things like that.
Chris in Stony Creek. What's up, Chris?
Yes, guys. Thank you for taking my call. Great show as always, guys. Listen to you guys in the morning. Just wanted to say that obviously the run that the Jays are on, the starting pitching has been so great. I think that's going to be a real strength to them when they go into the playoffs, man. Those, 4 guys, right? And Stripling, has been, he's been a revelation this year, right? I still kind of am worried a little bit when they get to the playoffs about, guys like Meza and Richards, you know what I mean? But I think at the end of the day, the pitching will be strong enough, and hopefully we get enough timely hitting in the playoffs, right? But one last point I'm going to make is like I honestly like Tesker Hernandez, but this year he's been really annoying, man. He hasn't done anything really this year, man. And then he goes and does these two really boneheaded plays, that are like borderline laziness. I'm sorry to say,
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm reluctant. Thanks for the call, Chris. I'm reluctant to say to use laziness. I think I was on with Ben Ennis in the Drive show today, and I prefer to use the phrase brain farts as opposed to laziness. But Kevin, listen, I got to tell you, if Vladdy starts hitting, if Bo keeps hitting, there's a lot of ifs here. If Kirk keeps hitting, if Springer can stay healthy, you know what? If the games are going to be like this and it's going to be all about pitching, I'm not entirely upset to have Jackie Bradley Jr. taking a regular run in the outfield there. Now, I know you don't have Lourdes Gurriel. We don't know what his status is going to be. I don't think you'd like to. I'm not saying you necessarily stick Teoscar in the bench, but I mean, there are some games here where I'm perfectly fine with what I saw tonight from the Jays in terms of outfield defense.
Maybe for me, again, for me in the playoffs, it's going to be a bloop and a bomb. It's not going to be 2 or 3 hits in a row. Is how you're going to beat good teams with really good pitching who have a game plan and have a cutter, slider, or a four-seamer away.
Although I got to tell you, Kevin, you know what? If you got to, and this is another thing, Drew Rasmussen today. I mean, Caleb was all over this. Drew Rasmussen today. Almost a 50-50 split between his cutter and his fastball, which I didn't necessarily get because all we've talked about is how the Jays have issues with the cutter. And I just found it kind of confusing. Maybe he was, I don't know, maybe they thought they had something, but those are some really comfortable at-bats the Jays had against Drew Rasmussen. I'm not used to seeing those comfortable at-bats.
Yeah, for me, it's
team against him.
Well, for me, it's just one of those days, right? He just didn't look like he didn't have the feel. He didn't have the release point. He was trying to get the cutter away. He's trying to get the slider away. The third inning really hurt him. Like the 7 batters he faced, he gave up 3 hits with 2 strikes. That's the one thing, right? When you give up hits with 2 strikes and you think you make good pitches, it's like the Bo Bichette, the 0-2 pitch that he was widened out with that 2-strike approach that he has. And he beats the ball to right center field. Like it's just little at-bats like that frustrate a really good pitcher and make them want to have to, or I shouldn't say make them have to do something different. And when you go outside the box, even if you're player of the month, you tend to not, throw balls where you want them to go. I just think it was good approaches, especially in that 3rd inning. You saw guys with 2 strikes battle. They were looking for something that they could put barrel to. And when they got it, they didn't miss it. So I think sometimes you have to tip your hat to the lineup. And it's not always about the pitches. It's about the guys that actually let the ball travel. Think about, hitting the ball sort of where they ain't, and give the Blue Jays credit in the 3rd inning. They did exactly that.
Sam in Hamilton, you want to talk about John Schneider?
Yeah. Hey, guys. First of all, Ross Stripling, you 1,000% qualify him. That's pretty much a lock now. Now, when it comes to John Schneider, I think he's the perfect manager for this team. And I'm kind of wondering why they didn't hire him initially. Was it because he was just too young in 2018? But anyways, but the one comparison I've always made to John Schneider, and a lot of people might not get this, but it's a movie that in the early 2000s called Freedom Writers. It was Hilary Swank, where a college teacher or a high school teacher shows all the kids how to write English and helps them their grades go up. And then at the end of the movie, she gets to teach them in college. And that's what I feel like with John Schneider is he was the high school teacher. Now he gets to graduate to colleges with them. And I think John Schneider will be the manager to win the World Series for the Blue Jays.
Yeah, Sam, thanks for the call. Listen, I can't remember the process when Charlie Montoyo was hired. I know a bunch of guys were interviewed. I know Brandon Hyde was interviewed for the job as well. I mean, I hate the I don't want to turn the rest of the year into a let's bash Charlie Montoyo thing, but it is an interesting question, Kevin. Maybe they just felt he wasn't ready. Maybe they just felt he wasn't ready. And I don't know if you'd asked John, was he ready 3 years ago? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. It's very hard to speak on that. The only person that knows that's Ross and Mark Shapiro. We have no idea why that would be. I just know right now he looks like he's he's the guy. Like, you see how aggressive he is, even when he took out Stripling with the Margot at bat. Like, he knew exactly what he was going to do ahead of time. Like how aggressive he is. There's no, second guessing. There's no walking out there like he's not real positive about what he wants to do. It's like he's the leader of the team. I'm going to go out there and tell you what to do. You're going to do it. We're going to win a bunch of games because of it. I just think that seems to be what this team needs. And now I think they have it.
Yeah. And we saw a couple of instances where I think we saw that Blue Jays aggressiveness. I mean, the stop and steal, or the steal and stop that was put on, and Santiago Espinal kind of blew that. And then, of course, Santiago Espinal forgot the number of outs, but we also saw it looked like a possible back pick with Kevin Biggio and Danny Jansen. I mean, there's and what I really like too, Kevin. You've got a 5-1 lead, but don't dick around in the ninth inning, man. You're not going to use Jordan Romano, so go with Anthony Bass, and I like that as well. I don't even know if it's aggressiveness as much. You know what it is? He is a very confident manager. He is a very confident manager. I think that's probably the word I would use.
Now, let's not forget they do have multiple options that they can go to late in games, which look, that'll make any manager look good. When you got 3 or 4 guys you can go to that you feel confident in the 8th and 9th inning, which is exactly what they have right now. And every guy that they're throwing out there is getting the job done. And I just like it that, it gets back to that when you saw Jimmy Garcia thrown in the 5th inning in Pittsburgh. What? Like, how do you talk a guy in with that's been around that long, and it just sort of has that, cachet of pitching in the 8th and 9th inning, and now you're asking him to do it in the 5th inning because the games mean so much that time of the year, and he has buy-in? I mean, how could you go wrong with that?
Ian and Brampton, I know you want to talk about it. We're already looking ahead to the playoffs, which is fine. Ian and Brampton wants to talk about Stripling versus Barrios for that potential start in Game 3.
Oh.
Hey guys, I listen to you guys every morning, and we hear the debate going on, Stripling or Barrios, possibly Game 3 of a wild card series. I just want to throw 2 stats out there, and I think this is going to make it real simple. One pitcher has an ERA of 2.87 this season with a WHIP of 0.98. The other pitcher has an ERA of 5.07 with a WHIP of 1.38. Money aside, I think those stats make the decision really simple. What do you think?
I never put money aside.
I don't either. I don't think big league teams would do that either. But I would say this: if you're just going with the best guy at that time, say it ended today, the playoff starts tomorrow. I mean, how could you argue, the stats that was just read off, and forget about how much money Jose Barrios is making. If you're just going with the best guy right now, that's Ross Stripling.
It's Ross Stripling. Here's the thing, though. I mean, first of all, the argument is, let's see what if that Baltimore series means home field advantage or a division title or whatever, then this argument is meaningless, because the Jays are going to need. They're going to be playing those games to win. And
sure,
it'd be nice if it all lined up perfectly, but
never does.
Things ever really lined up perfectly for this team, right? So assume that there will be something. There will be something at work there. The one thing I keep thinking about is, and it's not really fair to Ross, but it is a fact that he was a swing guy. He's used to different roles. He's used to multiple roles. I'm just throwing that out there. If you don't use Jose Barrios for a start, you're not gonna have him. You're not gonna have him for that series.
Boy, it really sounds like you're trying to talk yourself out of throwing the best guy, Jeff. Don't overthink it. Who's the best guy right now? Stop trying to think of swing guys and how much money dudes are making. Which dude is best at that time? And right now, it's Ross Stripling.
I can't argue with that. I may be arguing with you about it down the road, but I'm not going to argue about it right now. 416-87. As a matter of fact, I'm going to take a break. 416-8700, because I know I'm losing. 416-870-0590. That's what happens when you host the show. Star 590, 1-888-666. 0590. 590 is the text line. Back with more Blue Jays talk on Sportsnet 590, The Fan.
Baseball is in full swing. Why not enjoy great
Business IT Source, an award-winning provider of IT for business, is now part of Computer Center, one of the largest international IT solutions providers in the world. This offers large corporations the best of all worlds. Expanded capability with personalized service, including our no-cost stocking and integration, so products arrive on time and ready to deploy. Make Business IT Source and Dell Technologies part of your winning team. Business IT Source, the IT source for your business. Just like us at Bears Radio, our friends at Office Revolution really get the game. They furnished a global sports marketing agency in Fulton Market that won Crane's coolest offices. They know work is not just about conference rooms. This space has leather couches, bar stools by the tap, and even stadium seating for brainstorming great plays. Office Revolution knows your office represents your culture, brand, and should be a space where the team wants to work. Visit office-revolution.com to see what they can do.
Get ready for Chicago Gourmet. This September 22nd through 25th, Chicago Gourmet is creating a stir with a weekend of spirited events, serving up delicious food, premium wines, spirits, and beer. Join world-class chefs Rick Bayless, Stephanie Izard, Danielle Boulou, Sarah Gruenberg, and more for gourmet fun on the Harris Theater rooftop at Millennium Park. Tickets will sell out. Get yours today at chicagogourmet.org. From the Illinois Restaurant Association, Southern Glazers Wine and Spirits, and Choose Chicago.
Hey guys, Mike Valeni for Cash the Ticket podcast. If you like sports betting or if you just like sports, it's the podcast for you. We try to cover all the big games and maybe some of the games you didn't even know were important, give you some angles, pick some winners, have a good time, and hopefully help you meander through college and pro football season. So join us a couple times a week to get all your information you need to bet the games that you watch. It's Cash the Ticket on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts.
The listening you love is on the free Odyssey app. Your trusted local radio stations, coverage of your favorite teams, live news from your hometown, and millions of podcasts on demand. Best of all, you can completely customize your listening experience. Follow topics you care about, like leagues and teams. Pause or rewind your local sports and news, and add shows to your queue to catch up later. There's a lot to listen to, so get started and download the free Odyssey app today.
How's your mental health? I'm listening with Alanis Morissette.
When it first started, I would have my nightly panic attacks, but then I started getting really curious about all the sensations. Like I just really started looking at, okay, so chest is, I got really kind of granular in observing the details of what was really going on with the breath. It's just survival strategy. It's cortisol cooking nonstop. Chronic stress is trauma.
More at imlistening.org. Talk saves lives.
Looking for stories about the Black community and you don't want to wait until, February? Then check out Beyond Black History Month, the podcast that tells inclusive stories year-round. Like how today's labor movement is connected to the civil rights movement, and why Black neighborhoods keep getting hit with water crisis after water crisis.
We're still being charged for water that we can't use.
Listen and subscribe to Beyond Black History Month on the Odyssey app or wherever you get your podcasts from.
Progression for him, but I think the actual execution of the stuff has gotten better as he's gone along too. So, when you're talking about executing a game plan, he's probably